And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I'm not sure where to start. First of all, does Bill Maher love President Trump? After all the negativity, after all the back and forth, after all the name calling, does he love him? Does he respect him? Does he appreciate him? We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, an interesting debate that a lot of y'all were keyed in on, Dave Smith versus Douglas Murray. Before I watched some of the debate on Joe Rogan, I had no idea who either of these guys were. But upon my first impression, I saw the guy, Douglas Murray, the Brit, pretty condescending. For a so-called expert, he was struggling pretty heavily to just defend his point. And he resorted to the whole appeal to authority. I'm the expert. Believe what I say. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we still got protests. Elon, Trump, all kind of protests. And these people are getting weirder and weirder. I tell you what, wherever there's a big concentration of these kind of protests, count me out. I don't want to be nowhere near around. If it's too many of them in one area with all kind of weird Nazi signs and stuff like this, I was always told to stay away from lunatics waving around Nazi signs. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And now I'm messing up real bad. I ain't got my hat. I had everything set up properly. I brushed my teeth, had my lighting set up. I forgot to put on my hat. All right. ABL's bald. Yeah, I'm bald. Hey, because sometimes I've done it where I come on and the lights be off, right? Sometimes I'll be like this. The lights will be off. I'll be like, oops, I forgot to turn the lights on. Sometimes I forget to brush my teeth right before I come on, which is kind of a ritual. So I'm a little bit off in the beginning. But this time I forgot my hat, and it's right here on the thing, but I'm good. At least we have no audio issues this time. At least we're able to stream and everything's good. At least I'm not really high pitched. I made sure all of that was straight, so we're good to go. But shout out to y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, if you enjoy the content in general, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Hey, 1HD, you're funny. 1HD says, Louis Gossip Jr., that was funny. Hey, man, you get an A for effort for that one, for sure. You get an A for effort. Hold on. Do we have Louis Gossip Jr.? I just want y'all to see who he's talking about so you can see the comparison. All right, and then once I show you him, if you've not seen him before, you probably bust out laughing, right? There we go. So that's me right there. Hey, by the grace of God, hopefully I look as good as he does. Like, I think he might be in his 90s or something right here. I don't know how old he is. But hopefully, I look like that when I get to be old. Hopefully, I'm not hunched over. Louis Gossett Jr., well, he passed, of course. But he was 87 when he passed. And he looked pretty much like that when he was 87. So, yeah, RIP to Louis Gossett Jr. He died last year. But, yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going to look in the future. Actually, I got an uncle who is me in the future, and he still looks good. He got to be what, like 90? Close to it. Grandma like in her late 80s, so he got to be right around that same age, 88, 89, 90. So, yeah, shout out to genetics. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a whole lot going on today. We got some really interesting topics. We got to show Gretchen Whitmer. I don't know what she was going, what she had going on. Going to the White House, covering her face. People are really weird. People have become a lot more childish. That's what I've noticed. Over the past 10 years that I've been on the YouTubes, I've seen people become a lot more childish and a lot more soft, just in general. Adults behaving as children. And it's like, okay, if the adults are the children, then who's leading the children? These kids out here just doing whatever. okay, not really understanding the way you're supposed to behave, because what are the adults doing? Behaving like little kids. So shout out to all the adults who are actually adults out there. Shout out to you guys, because the world needs you. We most certainly do. Okay. Yeah, Gretchen Whitmer. Hold on. I'm gonna show you Gretchen Whitmer right now since I'm talking about her. Okay. Look, so let me just a matter of fact, hey, did she hide? Do you see her? Are you able to see her still? I know she's trying to hide, but do you see the governor? Again, this is Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan. This is not some random lady. It's not some little 8-year-old little girl playing around in the Oval Office. No, this is Gretchen Whitmer. And how old is she? Gretchen Whitmer is 53 years old, 54 in August, hiding her face because she's in the Oval Office. So check it out. She had a meeting with Trump, and because she did not want the photographers to take her picture anywhere near him, she covers her face with folders. It's like, Gretchen Whitmer, I could see that jacket you have on. That's not a very common jacket to have. I'm not going to see a regular normie at Walmart walking around with that on. So obviously you're somebody. You got a little bit of monies. So what's the point in doing that? That's like Michael Jackson covering his face. It's like, Michael, I still see you. I still see the little monkey. I still see the hand, the hair. I still hear your voice. Hello, I'm Michael. I still hear it, bro. Like, you're not hiding from me by covering your face up. But anyway, let me read this caption right here. It says, Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan found herself in the Oval Office this week, not for a one-on-one meeting with President Trump, but an appearance before the press corps. Oh, okay. I thought it was meeting with Trump, but she was not there for meeting with Trump. But anyway, it was an appearance before the press corps. She temporarily shielded herself from the cameras. She hid from the cameras. Is that what you're going to say, New York Times? These news outlets are funny. What she's doing right here is hiding. They said temporarily shielded. That's funny. That is hilarious. So yeah, shout out to, hey, David, that might be a little bit of out of context stuff right there. Somebody might clip that and say, look at ABL, he's nasty. But anyway, yeah, Gretchen Whitmer, please. 53 years old, I need you to behave as an adult. If you're in the White House, you're in the White House. That's all there is to it. I mean, ain't no point in trying to hide. I don't really like this whole extended adolescence of people. And here's something else. Can I say something else? Don't nobody get offended, please. Because I know that's like very popular sometimes. Not of you guys, because you guys are rock solid as a rock, no feelings or nothing. You guys are perfect, but some are going to get offended. See, some people don't want to vote for a woman in high office. And when I say some people, I mean men and women, because women understand women and so do men. A lot of people don't want to elect women in the high office because of stuff like this. Now, we could talk about a lot of these other leftists, from a Bernie Sanders to a Cory Booker to anybody in between. We could talk about them all we want, but what we can't say is that they've done a thing like that. Okay, I've not seen even the Pete Buttigieg do something like that. And he's married to a man and quote unquote adopted some babies. I've never seen that before in my life from an adult. If it was to be Elon Musk's son, Lil X, of course, he's 3 years old. He's supposed to do stuff like that, but not a full grown woman as a governor of Michigan. So yeah, shout out to her. But that was a really strange moment. And if you like what you're hearing so far, yeah, exactly, Peekaboo. Peekaboo is a grown adult. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. But yeah, not doing very good for the image of women in politics, Gretchen Whitmer, I tell you what. But before we get to any of the videos, and I got a good one, speaking about Bernie Sanders, I got a good one from him. But before we get to it, y'all know what to do. Like the video, and shout out to you guys for being the best sponsors, of course. But shout out to the other sponsors of the channel, patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the box, or just visit patriotpost.us in your browser. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, go to the merch website, ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. ablmerch.com. The link, as always, will be in the box. There it is right there on the screen. Thank you to Sheree for posting that. And my other website, my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to see articles that I write for each video that I produce. And in each article, I got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the local, national, international. Whatever you want, I got it. As long as it's legal, it'll be right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. And of course, all the links will be in the box. Go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media links, my Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook is jumping through the roof right now. So shout out to Facebook. Shout out to Big Zuck. Hey, Zuck, if you're listening, let me get monetized, though, on Facebook. How about that? Facebook been trying to battle me with that whole thing ever since COVID. I wrote an article that went viral on Facebook back in 2020. And ever since then, they had kind of an eye on me. It's like, who is this? Who is this guy? Like going viral, talking about vaccines are bad in 2020, right when they came out. Who's this dude? So they had an eye on me ever since, but they kind of being a little bit softer now. So Zuck or anyone, any Facebook people, put a good word in for your boy and release that block you got on me and let us flourish on the Facebooks. But anyway, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok, all my links are on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking to me on the interwebs or not, you're probably not. It should be obvious. My email's right there on the contact page of the website, contact@anthonyblogan.com. Again, my email is contact@anthonyblogan.com. If you can't remember, just go to the website. It'll always be right there on the contact page. So if it doesn't come from that email, it's not me. If someone gives you a 5,000-digit WhatsApp number from the YouTube comment section claiming to be me, just know that they are getting scammed, that you are going to be scammed, and at the end of it, you have no more shirts or shoes or nothing like that. You'll be completely penniless. So don't do that in 2025. We're trying to get this money and take advantage of a good economy we got coming up under the Trump administration. Now, somebody said, who's still on Facebook? Facebook is still the king. Believe it or not. Meta, really. Instagram, like Facebook is still really the king. Like, you know what's funny? The funny part about Facebook is I get similar views or better there with 60,000 followers, as I do on YouTube with over 1 million. So if you're able to get 1 million followers on Facebook, you could be doing like infinitely better than YouTube. So, and also Facebook, it's an older demographic. My demographic starts at 45 and goes up. 45 to 65, that's my age group right there on Facebook. Okay, people that had it since college, people that had it to talk to their family members, that's still a really, really big pool of people. So to all the people that are aspiring content creators, you want to make YouTube videos, put your content everywhere. You never know where your community is and meet people where they are. You could try to get everybody to come to YouTube, but why not just go to where they are? It's fine. Hey, you want this content? If you're just on Facebook and you like to scroll and that's it, I got you. I'm right there for you. All right. Yeah, a lot of Gen X. Yes. A lot of Gen X, some boomers as well. They watch me on Facebook. So shout out to you guys on the FBs. I would still stream over there, but they're so strict with the copyright. You can't post anything. Okay, you put up the Star Spangled Banner, they copyright strike that. It's like, man, come on, like, give me a break. But anyway, so yeah, 80 and older? No, not 80, not quite that old. 45 to 65 is really the generation. That's the group I got on Facebook that are really keyed in, that are really locked in. All right. Rex Rocker says, never joined Facebook. I just joined Instagram to find an old friend and I need to talk to. Hadn't heard or talked to her in 8 years. Parents had a divorce and kids don't talk to daddy and uncle. Anthony says, hey, as long as you are reaching people is all that counts. That's all. Hey, man, wherever you at, I'm going to reach you. Now, some of these platforms like Blue Sky, I'm good. I'm good, but beyond that, I'll meet you where you are. Alrighty. So we got a whole lot going on, and shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Speaking about Bernie Sanders is being introduced to the new generation. I mean, he's always kind of been the pawpaw talking to grandkids in politics. He was like that when he first came out many years ago, or where he first became very popular many years ago. He's always been like that. But now he's being introduced to the they-them generation. The they-them generation, I'm not quite sure that Bernie Sanders is prepared for the they-them generation. Let's check it out.
Paul, we're back with Senator Bernie Sanders. I want to introduce Grace Thomas. She's a local civil rights attorney. She's a Democrat. Grace?
They, them pronouns, actually. Thank you.
Oh.
Good evening, Senator Sanders. Polling and turnout data indicate.
So Bernie, I don't know what kind of face that is. He's just like 1,000 years old. He's kind of puzzled, perplexed. He's like, they, them. I'm seeing one person. What does it mean, they, them? I can't do Bernie Sanders' accent, but y'all know what's going on. If it's me, I probably look the same way. Like, what are we doing?
That men of all racial demographics are turning away from the Democratic Party. But of course.
Paul, we're back with Senator.
All right. So, yeah, shout out to the they, them. I mean, I don't know what, at this point, I don't know what gender somebody is. I don't know, man. Like, okay, I'm going in the store and lady behind the counter, I say, yes, ma'am. I don't want to be corrected and then have this person say they, them. I would never go in the line again. I would never speak to the person again. I might not go to the store no more. Here I am being polite, and here you are just being some type of creature, some type of plural entity. Ain't that a demon? But I won't go down that road, so I digress. I don't want nobody to get offended. Oh, you called the LGBTs demons. You're homophobic. Please shut up. Please shut your mouth. But anyway, let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, this person, hold on. Now, I think I already played that. I did play that. Dave Portnoy, I had to get you, man. Dave Portnoy, I had to get you. I don't know what you're doing right here. If you're trolling, if you lose a bet, I don't know exactly what's happening here, but I want y'all to witness Dave Portnoy, the boss, I believe, over at Barstool, or one of the big wigs over there. Let's watch him try to hammer this board.
Oh boy.
Bro, have you ever used a hammer before? Okay, it's one of two things going on. Either, matter of fact, I'm going to play it in the background to see if he ever does it. There's one of two things going on. Either you're trolling or you've never used a hammer before. That's not how you do that there, sir. That is not how you do it. Now, you know, and the funny part is they make it so simple. Look, I don't know if he's trolling or what, but they make it so simple. It's like, bro, okay, your hammer has two sections. The top part where it's just the steel exposed and the bottom with the rubber grip. So try holding it by the rubber grip and using a little bit of leverage to, you know, get a little bit of oomph in your swing. Hammering it like that, like doing like this, that ain't, you're not getting the full use of the tool there, sir. I mean, what are we doing? So yeah, shout out to Dave Portnoy. I need you to learn how to use a hammer. And if you're trolling, that was a great troll. Yeah, don't give him a drill. Oh my goodness. Dave Portnoy, hold on. Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. He is, I believe, the founder of Barstool Sports. He founded Barstool Sports in 2003. So he's like a very well-known sports guy. He'll also opine on politics occasionally. And speaking about Dave Portnoy opining about politics, here he is talking about, you know what? I did vote Trump, but I might go back to the other direction if things are going this way in the future. Let's watch.
Do you see yourself supporting Democrats?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing about me, which drives me crazy, I vote for Trump. I support him. I was never like some crazy MAGA guy. Like I look at each candidate and I choose who I like. I think the left and a lot of even what they did with, I want to say, hiding Biden's mental state and not having a primary really drove me to the right. So I am not somebody who would just strictly vote based on Republican or Democrat. I vote on the people running, how I think they speak to me, the issues that are important to me. But yes, I will vote how I feel is the best interest of what I believe in.
Could you see?
Okay, all right. I can kind of get down with that. And that's good to be open-minded, but I'm not quite sure that he would like to vote Republican most of the time. I think he liked to pretty much be on the left most of the time. Maybe a center left at best. That's kind of the vibe I get from Dave, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect about that. That's just my humble opinion. So yeah, shout out to him. All right. Yeah, policy voter. I get it. I can get jiggy with it, but I think at a certain point, he liked to be more in the center left in general. He wouldn't really have to be hemming and hawing when it comes to voting for a leftist person. If they had a somewhat competent person running and they didn't do anything that was outwardly corrupt, like what they did with not having a primary, doing the bait switch at the very end with Kamala, that was just crazy. That whole thing, what they did with Kamala, that was completely nuts. I mean, how are you going to have a whole primary? How are you going to ensure voters that the person that they selected to run for president will be able to run? And after all the primaries were done, right before the DNC, you say, surprise, here goes Kamala. And nobody had any, but you had to accept it. You had no choice but to accept it. And it was weird because what should have happened was that Biden stepped down from the presidency and Kamala take over. But because it was almost over, it was almost toward the end, okay, throw Kamala out there. And really, they kind of set Kamala up. Actually, they ain't no kind of, they set her up. There's no way that she was ever going to succeed. It was impossible. And did y'all see Kamala talking about, oh, I thought I won. Like, I thought we were going to win. Hold on. Yeah, Kamala, I thought we were going to win. What happened? Like, why did we lose? Talking about some, oh, can I get a recount? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, it's just a screenshot from Red State, but it's all over the place. It says Kamala was completely shocked after finding out she lost to Trump. Should we do a recount? See, she was probably believing their lies. The lies on the left that she had a chance. The lies on the left that she was doing very well. The lies on the left that the American people would accept her and they would embrace her. That just did not happen. It was simply a lie. Now, let's go to a liberal here. Another liberal person, liberal voter, getting his Tesla keyed up. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Check it out, guys. Somebody keyed the crap out of my Tesla, a car I bought 6 years ago in the state of California, because I'm concerned about climate change. Oh, but some amazing resistance fighter keyed the crap out of it, and that's going to do it. Voting didn't work, but, this defiling the car of a fellow liberal, we did it, guys. We got him. Today's our Liberation Day. Go celebrate. Just go celebrate. Woo!
So look, I mean, when you are a liberal person, you identify as that, and you make purchases based on your ideology, because you heard what he said. I bought it 6 years ago in California because I'm trying to help with climate change. You really believe in what you believe in. You believe in your leftist principles. But when fellow leftists continue to assault you and continue to become hypocrite, like they're hypocritical, they're assaulting you, at what point do you say, you know what, maybe what I'm doing is not really the right thing? And once you dig into the way that Teslas are made, or any kind of EV, is it about being environmentally friendly, or is it about something else? Is it about convenience? Because listen, once you, or at a certain point, which I pray we don't get to this point, but if the United States goes to an all electric fleet of personal cars, the load on the system, the load on the grid, the electrical grid would be out of this world. And how are you going to power it? Coal. There's a higher demand now for coal from coal mines right here, West Virginia, all over there's a higher demand because there's going to be higher energy grid draws, higher demand for energy, higher demand for electricity to power these Teslas. So they're talking about, oh, well, we gotta go from coal and get to renewables, but since we got so many EVs, we gotta go back to coal. That's pretty much where we are. So yeah, shout out to the environmental people talking about, oh yeah, I want my EV. If you like EVs, that's fine. If you like it, I love it. But the whole I'm being environmentally friendly, that's not really a real thing in my humble opinion. From the mining to get all the rare earths for your EV and to power your EV requires energy in the form of coal, basically. All right, now, we have these people out here protesting for the SAVE Act. Well, they're protesting against the SAVE Act. And the SAVE Act is a thing that prevents illegal aliens from registering to vote. Why would anyone be against illegal aliens registering to vote? I don't understand. Maybe I could. Hey, if you could fill me in, if you could help me figure that out, let me know. But let's go here and see what they got going on.
Stop the SAVE Act.
Yes. Can you explain? Can you explain to me what the SAVE Act is?
Well, I mean, if you look things up and if people would actually do their research, it is a part of the 2025 agenda that this administration ran on that they denied. But what it amounts to is people really want to, what they really want to do is they want one vote per household. And in order to do that, you have to stop women from voting. And the way that you stop women from voting is that you tell them they have to have two forms of ID. Well, you have to have two forms of ID, so you have to have a birth certificate.
So it makes it harder.
You have to have a birth certificate, and you have to have a state ID or a driver's license.
So how would that make it more difficult for women specifically to vote?
Well, my last name as a married woman is not going to match. Those items are going to match.
You wanted something.
So my last name on my birth certificate as a married woman is not going to match my driver's license.
I think they'll be able to figure that out. I think that you'd be just fine if you bring your birth certificate with your maiden name and your license, because they're going to ask, okay, maiden name. I think you'll be okay. Don't worry about it. You are operating on an unfounded fear that you heard from the mainstream media. You heard that from Asuncion Hostin, a.k.a. Sunny Hostin. You heard that from her. But you didn't really hear it from a real person that knows anything about anything.
Which means I can be denied the vote.
So how would they be able to fix that problem right there? How would they be able to fix that problem?
Well, they can put wording in there that says that won't matter, but they won't put wording in there. The wording is not there that says that women who are married will be exempt from that match. Okay, it's not in there. Okay. And they keep, and when this is brought up at town halls, they talk over it. They jump over it. They will not answer it directly.
And why is that?
Well, because they don't want to.
All right, so there we go. So what do y'all think? Do you think the vote of women in this country is in danger, or is it an unfounded? It's just something from the mainstream media. Mainstream media inciting these people, scaring them half to death. All because why? They want them to be the ones out there as the foot soldiers protesting, quote unquote, protesting in favor of what they want, in favor of their particular narrative they want to push. That's all. But hey, some people are going to be brainwashed and you can't do much about it. Now, speaking about brainwash, this was funny. This is a funny video that I saw. The caption says, gold medalist at the woke Olympics gives moving victory speech. So clearly a joke. There's no real woke Olympics, But if it was a true woke Olympics, this person will most certainly win all the medals. Let's hear the many ways this person is oppressed.
I am Filipino-Japanese, second generation. I'm a disabled trans man, but I'm also a Medicaid patient. I'm also a person who uses food stamps. I'm also a person who has been through houselessness in this country. I am also a person who has gone through substance use and addiction. And most of all, I am a patient of Planned Parenthood.
Oh my Lord. What?
I am everything that Donald Trump and Elon Musk want to erase.
Okie dokie. There we go. So yeah, there's quite a bit of oppression right there. Quite a bit of oppression. I mean, you pretty much said everything. I don't know what's missing. Okay, you didn't say you were an orphan, raised by wolves. You might as well say that. Throw everything, throw the whole kitchen sink in there while you at it. You're so oppressed. But hey, you know what? Through all the oppression, through all the rigmarole you had to go through, you're still right here. And you've not missed one meal. So I think, all things considered, you're doing pretty well, right? Maybe it's just me. But yeah, shout out to her. Or him or them or whatever the pronouns are. I don't know what's going on in 2025. I'm seeing a woman with a beard, but it might not be a beard. How do you take hormones to get a neck beard on purpose? What part of the game is that? But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. So look, we got a one-man Trump protest. A one-man Trump protest. Such a brave soul, a brave spirit. His sign says, "Make America great again. Impeach Trump." All right. So Pops is out there with the sign, doing it by himself. Let's check it out.
He's trying, but we just blocked him. We just blocked this guy. He can't do nothing with his little sign. It's so funny. You cannot. That's funny.
So yeah, you got the big truck, the big tour bus, the big van right here with the iconic picture of all iconic pictures of President Trump doing the fight. So I think that right there might get a little bit more attention, a teeny bit more attention than Pawpaw right here. Bless his heart. He's trying his best, but that van, that bus, hey man, what can you really do? Shout out to Pops for doing his best, trying to fight the power, but the power defeated him. Now, there's a lot we got to get into. Hold on. Where did I want to go next? I wanted to go talk about, speaking about the fight. So, a couple of things. One of Trump's golf clubs unveiled a statue of that moment, and Trump was there. Let's check it out. All right, this is Trump International Golf Club, Palm Beach. All right, Trump International Golf Club, Palm Beach. So there we go. Shout out to Trump. Hey, that statue, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need a replica of that. Life-size replica. I need that right now. I need it in bronze. Like statue, I need a Statue of Liberty type situation. I'm gonna need that right in front of my house. Real talk. Let me see if I can find an actual picture of the statue. Trump statue, fight. Let me see. Well, I might not be able to find it. But shout out to him. What I did see, however, aside from the statue, which I'll probably be able to find, I saw that they did a portrait change in the White House. So there was a portrait of Barack Obama, okay, as you can see right here in the White House, but that was changed to a portrait of President Trump. That's a real thing in the White House right now. Hey, I love it. Hey, I'm gonna need the statue and the picture, and that appears to be a painting. Yes, that's a painting. So that's great. And my thing is, why not do that? Why not like lean into it and show it as a triumphant moment? Because that's what it was. It was definitely a triumphant moment. It was a miracle in front of my eyes. I mean, I can't get over it. The bullet was right here, right in between his eyes. He moved just enough. He shifts, didn't even really move. He just shifted his head a little bit to look at the chart. He shifts his head just a little bit, and then the bullet just grazes his ear. But it would have been right in between his eyes. So that's definitely an iconic moment. It was a miracle. And it just shows that, hey, nothing they do will succeed. So shout out to Trump. And that picture. Now, speaking about Trump, he had a cognitive test at Walter Reed. So let's see what his reaction is to being asked about the cognitive test.
Everybody, Mr. President, just got back from Walter Reed. How'd it go? Land with you. What I think well. Every test you can imagine. I was there for a long time. The yearly physical. I think I did well. I think they're releasing the report on Sunday. Doctors, highly respected doctors. Great place, great, amazing place, actually.
Did they give you any suggestions or advice on anything you need to change up?
A little bit, but overall I think I felt I was in very good shape. Good heart, a good soul, very good soul. And I wanted to be a little different than Biden. I took a cognitive test, and I don't know what to tell you other than I got every answer right.
So yeah, shout out to President Trump. Hey, it's a little bit pale. It's a little bit pale, man. I need you to get that orange treatment. Okay, renew the orange treatment and get back to your regular basketball type of glow. That's what we need from our president. But he sounds good, looks good. Shout out to our president. Keep rocking and rolling. Keep making America great again. Right on. And if you like what you're hearing so far, you know what to do. Now, Bill Maher. Y'all like Bill Maher? I think Bill Maher is okay. I think Bill Maher is fair. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think that he's okay. I wouldn't just sit here and watch Bill Maher, like, unironically, just sitting on my couch like, hey, let me just turn on the TV, which I don't watch, and watch Bill Maher. That's not really my thing. But sometimes when I see clips of his, I can comment on it and I can respect what he does. I appreciate a liberal that has space enough to speak to a conservative in good faith. Because a lot of times they don't speak to you in good faith. They come at you trying to attack you, trying to bomb on you, things like this. So I appreciate someone who is from the other side that will give you an open and honest ear in the conversation. Because like I said, a lot of times they're not really trying to talk to you. So here he is on this show talking about meeting with President Trump. As a matter of fact, hold on, before I get to that, I got a picture of the show because there was a dinner with Kid Rock, Trump. Hold on, matter of fact, let me just pull it up. There was a dinner with Kid Rock, Trump, Dana White, and someone else. I don't know who it is. Maybe y'all be able to identify him, but I'm not quite sure who the person is. All right, let me find my space right quick. There we go. There we are. So let me put it on the screen for you guys. So who's the gentleman right there? Some of y'all might know it, but on the far left, I'm not sure who that is. But of course, right here to his right, you have Bill Maher. Then, of course, the Orange Man, Kid Rock, Dana White. Kid Rock's name, by the way, is Bob. Just regular old name. I'm Kid Bob. Kid Bob. All right, so let me see if y'all can. Is it Jesus? Is that who that is? Okay, but that's a picture right there. And let's get to what Bill Maher said about Trump.
Before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like Stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog. His show is dead. The 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did.
That's called being a great sport. That's called being a great sport. So Bill Maher brings a bunch of insults that Trump had sent his direction over the years and put it in front of him. Hey, can you sign that? Sure, no problem. Bill Maher's not crying. Trump's not crying. It's all good. That's what I like. I like that. I like that.
Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened. Oh my God, Bill, are you going to say something nice about him? What I'm going to do is report exactly what happened. You decide what you think about it. And if that's not enough pure Trump hate for you, I don't give a
There you go. So shout out to Bill Maher. He's right on point. Right on point. And I appreciate how he could just be real, be honest. Because a lot of people, they're not going to be honest, especially on the left. They'll straight up lie to you, all in the name of trying to protect whatever they got going on. They'll straight up tell you a lie right in your face. Let's keep on rocking here.
Moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem, loved it. The border did need to be controlled. I'm glad the cops are getting their morale back. DEI had gone too far. Biological men shouldn't be playing women's sports. Europe should pay for their defense. And of course, it makes sense that Arab countries should take in Arab refugees, like the million Syrians who wound up in Germany when Saudi Arabia took none. He said to me, "You're right, they took none." I said, "Well, you should remind your boyfriend in Saudi Arabia that the next time you see him."
Of course, that's MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. Like I said in my video, nobody will do anything to Mohammed bin Salman or the Saudis. You want to try to do something or go against them? Okay, well, look, you have a whole world dependent upon oil. And if the Saudis are not happy, if the Saudis are crossed, the whole world would be ruined.
He laughed. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down.
So shout out to him. All right. But Bill Maher, I mean, look, a rational liberal. That's all I could really ask you for. That's all I can ask you for. We're going to get into some other liberals in a minute. We're going to get to the whole Doug Murray thing. That was totally weird. That was my first introduction to those guys. And Douglas Murray, I'm like, that's supposed to be some type of thought leader. He's supposed to be the future. I didn't really understand. Okay, I didn't really get it. Matter of fact, since I'm right here, I'm gonna just show it. I'm a little out of order, but that's fine. I'm gonna go right back. Okay, so look,
They're up.
How many of y'all know who Douglas Murray is, and also Dave Smith? I did not know who these guys were before the Joe Rogan Podcast. I mean, people was like, how do you not know who these guys are, ABL? I don't know everything. I'm sorry. I apologize. I wish I had all the information in the world. I wish I knew everybody in the whole world by their first, last name, but I just don't. I'm sorry. But what I was reading is that the man right here in the hoodie, Dave Smith, is a comedian who became a podcaster. And a lot of his podcast focuses on historian type stuff, historical information, a lot about Israel. I believe he's kind of critical of Israel, although he is Jewish. This guy right here is Jewish. And the other guy, Douglas Murray, I don't know if he's a Jew or not, but he's like an intellectual over in UK. And Douglas Murray, by what many say, should be the voice to speak on the things that Dave Smith speaks on, because Douglas Murray is an intellectual. Douglas Murray is a smart guy. Douglas Murray is the expert. But here's my question. what makes someone an expert? How does someone get crowned to be an expert? I'm trying to figure that out. Is it your education? Douglas Murray, you have a bachelor's of English from Magdalen College in Oxford. Okay, I guess it's a good school, but a bachelor's, if you're going to go to a good school, why not get something post-grad? A bachelor's degree in English, is that what your background is to become an expert? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Let's watch.
How many have you been to the crossing points?
No.
When were you last there at all?
I've never been.
You've never been?
Well, am I not allowed to talk about it now? I've never been to. Have you ever been to Nazi Germany? Are you allowed to have feelings about them?
You can't time travel, but you
Well,
can.
right.
But you can travel.
Okay, but so.
But what what Dave Smith just said is right on point. It's like, okay, I never been there. Can I not talk about it? I've not been to ancient Egypt, to Nazi Germany, to Mesopotamia. I've not been to any of these places. But I could still talk about it. We could still have conversations about it. So you're trying to appeal to authority. You're trying to make him meet certain qualifications in order to be qualified to speak on a certain thing. You got to travel there. You got to be an historian. You got to do this, and this. Who gave him that right to make that determination? Who gave him that right to say that's what it's got to be in order for you to speak on certain things? What he doesn't understand, Douglas Murray, is that we have freedom of speech in the USA. We can say whatever we want. It's up to those who are listening to listen or not. It's up to the people to listen or not. It's up to them to say whether that guy makes sense or whether he doesn't make sense.
So what? So what's the point? Like,
no,
okay.
I find that
lots of people have been there and agree with me, and lots of people have been there and agree with you.
Yeah, but
so
if
I don't
you're
know
going to spend a year and a half talking about a place, you should at least do the courtesy of visiting it.
All right. I just think this is a non-argument.
You don't think?
Okay. No, I think it's a non-argument.
But if you're an expert,
well, you have to go and touch the ground.
No, I think you have to see. I think it's a good idea to see stuff, particularly if you spend a career talking about something. Yes, I have a journalistic rule of trying never to talk about a country even in passing unless I've at least been there.
Okay.
You've not been to ancient Egypt, but you can talk about that. You have whole Egyptologists. I mean, you can go to Egypt right now, but that ain't ancient Egypt. That is current day Cairo, basically. That's not ancient Egypt.
It's sort of normal. It's a normal thing to do. You're talking about crossing points. And not only have you never been to a crossing point in either Egypt or in Israel, but you've never even been to the region.
Okay. Again, I think this is a non-argument. I don't understand.
No, it's not a non-argument.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a non-argument. If you're insisting that you're an expert of some kind, or not claiming you're an expert, but still talking about it.
Which one is it? If you're claiming to be an expert or if you don't claim to be an expert? I don't really understand. So because you, with your bachelor's of English, your bachelor in English from Magdalen, since you've been there, you get to be the expert on it. So if I go there, matter of fact, I'll go with you. Me and you could go together. We could spend a whole week in Israel, Gaza, wherever you want to go. We can go there together. Now, at the end of the trip, I'm going to feel the exact same way I felt before I came. So am I now qualified to be an expert according to Douglas Murray? Is that how that works? Who gave him the right to gatekeep that?
About the provisions going into Gaza or not, if you've never seen any of this going on.
So you're not allowed to speak about things that you've read about. You can only speak about things that you've seen with your own eyes.
You can talk about what you want, as you're proving. But that is a different matter from spending an awfully long amount of time talking about an issue in a region you haven't even had the courtesy to visit, whilst developing all of these views about it. I mean, now I slightly get an idea of where you're coming from. You've read about this blockade, and so
it's called studying. It's called studying. That's how you learn. When you read, you're able to learn. And when you read a lot and speak to the so-called experts, and you do this for a long period of time, that's how you're able to become knowledgeable about a thing.
So you imagine that that's what it is. I imagine you've read all the people who say that Gaza was a concentration camp.
All right, so there we go. Again, that was gentleman right here, the English bloke. That is Douglas Murray. And the other gentleman, his name is Dave Smith. Now, Did you guys watch? Hold on. Did you guys watch the entire debate? Did you guys watch any of it? Who do you think succeeded? Was it Dave Smith or Douglas Murray? And look, this kind of thing. Hold on. I'm gonna come back so you see me clearly. Let me come back. I think this underlines the whole issue with the so-called experts. People that claim to be experts. Oh, trust me. Don't trust anybody else. This is what we're talking about. A lot of times these guys don't know anything for real. They don't know anything. They hide behind certain kind of credentials. In this case, it can't be education. You have a bachelor's degree, bro. I mean, come on. That's like having a high school diploma in 2025. Like, that's not really your flex. In English, especially. So, okay. Matter of fact, Douglas, I'll play your game. Since your bachelor's degree is not in any kind of Middle Eastern studies, it's not in history, you can't speak on history because you have no background in education on that. You have an English degree. That's what you have. So you can't talk on it. How about that? But who do y'all think succeeded? Do you think it was Dave Smith or Douglas Murray? And again, before I watched this, a lot of people were saying how Douglas Murray was a big intellectual and he's a conservative guy in UK, and the left, he's so smart, even the left don't want to debate him. I'm like, that guy? A tomato can at best. A tomato can at best. Anthony says, do I still debate the libs? Whenever they come up. I respect the liberals that do want to debate because I ask liberals to debate all the time. I ask them to come up. I'll be like, hey, man, I got a live show. I'll do it. I've been doing it for years. Come on up, call me, have a debate. They don't want to do it. I'll try to schedule a real debate, like off of the show time, off of the call time. They don't want to do it. So I respect any liberal that wants to actually call me or set up a live stream with just me and that person having a debate. I respect them because the majority of people that have, a liberal point of view that don't like what I say, they don't want to actually get on a camera or on a microphone and talk at all. All right. So I'm gonna read some of the comments right here. NKM says a college degree today is like a GED 20 years ago. Pretty much. Okay. Pretty much. Steel Toe says I take Murray's opinion over Smith's. Samborn 71 says Douglas Murray has spent years in Israel and Gaza and has firsthand information regarding the conflict. Okay, but what does he know that Dave Smith doesn't know? Just because you're able to be there and get knowledge from being on the ground does not mean that Dave Smith cannot get the same knowledge while not being on the ground. You see what I'm saying? And also, you may have a bias toward or against a particular thing. So even if you go there and you see it, that bias still may govern how you actually report what's going on. That bias may govern how you interpret what you're seeing. So I don't think him going there and spending months there gives him any more knowledge than Dave Smith. That's my humble opinion. Sin says Murray is not American and doesn't share our ideals. Right on. And speaking about that is a good place to show this. So this is the kind of thing that happens over in UK and other parts of Europe as well. I think Germany, you got to do with this. This kind of thing happens in UK, and maybe this is why Douglas Murray says you can't talk about certain things, or maybe you shouldn't talk about certain things, or you don't have the authority to talk about certain things, because speaking about certain things is a privilege where he comes from. Let's watch this, shall we?
2:30 in the morning. Can I ask why for a second time tonight you are disturbing me and my son in my home?
Yeah, because I've been made aware there's videos that have been posted onto social media, including those that were made this morning.
This morning? What made this morning?
And of my officers that have been round this evening.
Right, and?
So I'm here to kindly ask that you remove said videos from social media. If you do
no, I don't think I've broke the law, so I don't think I will.
If you And also, I want to advise you that you might well be committing offences under the Malicious Communications Act, okay?
Okay. 2:30 in the morning.
So there we go. That's the kind of thing you got going on in the UK. A police officer at your door talking about, oh, this offensive video, all this, that, and the third. Now, I don't think it was anything that was, X-rated or something, because she'd probably be getting locked up. But, oh, your opinion was offensive. So I'm at your house in the middle of the night telling you to take the videos down. That's called intimidation. Passively intimidating. Coming to my house at night as an officer talking about social media posts. So maybe a guy like Douglas Murray is into that. Maybe he thinks that's okay to do something like that. But over here in the United States, that's not how we operate. We have freedom of speech. And the whole point of freedom of speech is to let all the ideas come to the forefront. Remember, at one point, to say that the earth revolved around the sun was heresy. That was heresy in the church. That was a big no-no. Why? No freedom of speech. Hey, man, you can't go against what God said. The earth going around the sun, that's blasphemous. You're a blasphemer. Now you're going to get in trouble. So when Founding Fathers come over here, all the guys, 1700, when they come over here and they want to start their own thing, freedom of speech was very important. So was right to bear arms, because they understand how you can have very tyrannical government that would control you through what you say. And since you have no arms to defend yourself, they could pretty much do whatever they want to you. Tell you shut up and don't say nothing, don't fight back. That's why you got to have First Amendment and Second Amendment. That's why they're next to each other. That's why they come first, because one enforces the other. All right, hold on. Somebody said the earth's flat. Oh, okay, there we go. One of them. We get one of them little mouth breather in the. I'm playing, but not really. So yeah, shout out to y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, someone said that the earth is flat. I think this right here is how you look. All right, I'm just playing, but not really. But anyway, let's hear what this guy says to the MAGAs. I guess that's us, right? I guess we're the MAGAs. Let's hear what he says.
Dear MAGAs, are you happy now? Is this what you wanted? Is this what you were looking for? Is this the economy that you wanted to be a part of?
Absolutely, 100%, because I already know what's going on. I know what's going on. I know what has to be done in order to have us go forward in the future stronger. I know we can't just keep relying upon China for everything. I know that we cannot just let them take over. I know what it is. So, yes, this is what I wanted. I wanted the illegal aliens up out of here. I wanted the taxes. Hopefully we get that. More tax money in my own pocket. More domestic production. More jobs in the country. Yeah, that's what I want. For sure. Absolutely. So, yeah, shout out to the MAGAs out there. Let's keep on going here. Now, are y'all still doing this in 2025? Are y'all still doing this? My man has what I can only describe as a respirator at Costco. It's like, bro, you're going to be just fine. I think whatever you got in your cart, because I'm not really seeing the athletic man right here. I'm seeing the big love handle on the back, little spare tire on the back. I think whatever's in your cart is going to be more harmful to you than the air. But let's watch this, shall we? Okay, no sound. Oh, he's an employee. Okay, nice big pregnancy belly. When is the baby due? So I guess you got to protect the baby. You have goggles as well? Bro, I promise. It's okay. It's okay. If you take the mask and the goggles off, you're not going to die. You'll be just fine. Like I said, that spare tire right there, that is a problem. That's what you got to worry about. All them, ding-dongs and ho-hos and yoo-hoos and all that other stuff you put in your body. That's the problem. The air ain't the problem. So, yeah, shout out to my man. It's time, sir. If I was there with you right now, I'll hold your hand. I'll say, you know what? It's time. It's time to let it go. Please let it go. Amen. That's what I would say. But hey, shout out to him, man. I guess he said, I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather be safe than sorry. That's kind of what's going on. All right, let's keep on rocking here. Oh, we got Jasmine Crockett talking about high grocery prices, speaking about grocery stores and whatnot. No, here we go. I'm sorry for the freeze frame, but it is what it is.
Realm. So I am telling you that this is a failed thing, but we've got to do better to connect the dots and let people know the reason you can't afford a home is because of these failed immigration policies. The reason you're not going to be able to afford your food is because of these failed immigration policies. And the same can go for the hospitality industries, where we have so many of those in the hospitality industry that are saying they do not have the workers that they need right now.
Okay, so there's a lot going on. Now, first of all, you're talking about farms and hotels. They've always had the illegal or undocumented or visa people. They've always had them. So why would that be impacted after the big influx of migrants got deported? Or not even really all of them. Some of them, but not all of them. At the end of the day, we need to get Americans back to work. The government should not be in the business of incentivizing Americans to stay home and do nothing. You shouldn't be going on TV talking about, well, it's migrants. They do all those jobs. No, we got to do those jobs. Americans have to work in America. Simple as that. And as far as home prices, did home prices magically just jump up overnight? Did they jump up in 2025 to what they are? I don't think so. I think home prices have been up for a long time. And also, speaking about migrants, if you bring in 20 million illegal aliens in 4 years, where are they going to live at? What are they going to do for a place to live? They're going to compete with us, and that's going to just drive the price up. So when you say the reason why you can't afford your home is because of the migrant crisis, well, maybe you meant because they are coming over here, bombarding us, and now we got a housing shortage because of all the new people that came in. Did you mean that? If you say that, okay, that makes sense. But if you think that deporting the migrants is what's causing the homes to go up in price, that's not based in any kind of reality. It's just not based in reality. So yeah, shout out to her, but not really. Now, we got somebody else in a Tesla dealership. Now look, if I'm seeing this dweeb in here with his orange hat in a Tesla dealership with paint or whatever, off rip, man, let's go ahead and play football. You're going to get tackled straight up, full body tackle right there on the dealership floor to get you up out of there. Because I already know what's about to happen. You about to go vandalize something. You about to pour paint on something. We don't got time for that, okay? I don't want you to modify the Teslas before they leave the actual showroom floor. So what you're going to do right now is get full body tackled and drug up out of there. But they didn't do that, so let's see what he did, shall we? So if you couldn't see what he did, he had a pie in his hand, and he pied the Tesla robot that's on display. Okay, so it's like, bro, what do you think that pieing a robot in a Tesla dealership is going to do? What will be the result? What's going to be the actual end game here? Okay, now this guy did speak. He did speak. Let's see what he says.
I just threw a pie.
Hold on, let me start from the top.
I just threw a pie into the face of a Tesla robot. Because these ridiculous, shiny gimmicks will not distract from the fact that Tesla is destroying our livelihoods. The tech giant is spearheaded by the Hitler salute fascist Elon Musk. He can buy out parties and is actively trying to bring Nazis back to power in Germany. 80 years ago, we had Nazi military industry, and now it's mega corporations like Tesla. On the platform X, Musk and his AFD friends spread their fascist propaganda. All of this agitation and lust for power we will encounter with a peaceful democratic revolution.
Okay, so look, here's my question. Young man, if you're able to get your way and there's no more Elon Musk, there's no more AFD, these guys are not in charge, who be in charge? Is it going to be y'all? Is it going to be y'all? I don't think that you guys have what it takes to really be in charge of these nations. You guys are not really leadership material, in my humble opinion. Not quite yet. Okay, you could be if you have your mind right and you go in the other direction. If you spent less time buying Tesla robots, you'd be able to really make a mark in this world. But right now, you're talking about fascists, Nazis, things of this nature. Please, you have your eyes on the wrong target. You have your eyes on the target that the media painted for you, but you don't really know what's going on. You don't know who the actual enemy is. You don't know who the enemy of society and to progress and to peace in this world is. If you knew who the enemy really was, then you wouldn't be tripping about Elon Musk. You would not be mad about Elon Musk. You would actually, if you knew who the enemy was, you'd be able to identify that they are the ones who are negative and sour on Elon Musk. All right. So yeah, shout out to this guy. Like he's 12 years old out here buying Tesla robots. Now we got more, of course. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, speaking about fascism, let's watch this here. Okay, I'm gonna read the caption that says, "The tolerant, accepting liberals showing their true colors again." Let's watch. Now, if you can't see his sign, it says, "Trans women are men," which is a fact. It is a verifiable biological fact. Some might not like it, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's a fact at the end of the day, whether you like it or not.
What are you doing in Naperville?
So walking around with this?
Why?
Because it's the truth.
Are you angry?
No.
Are you scared?
No, why? Why do you say that?
What are you worried about?
What do you mean?
I mean, take your hateful message and get it.
It's not hate.
It's pretty hateful.
No, it's not. It's the truth.
Accept people as they are. There's
Well,
a lot of ways to be human.
How is it hateful?
There's a lot of ways
Okay.
to be human. But the people should matter.
What's your purpose? To spread the truth.
Well,
what the truth of what? That they're she keeps interrupting me. They're men. They're men.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Hey, watch it. Watch it. Watch what? No, you better.
Oh, getting aggressive. There we go. There they go. There they go. Look now, let's not do that. Let's be civil. Don't approach me, get aggressive, put your hands on me. That's not. Give me a few feet there, boss. Give me a few feet.
Fucking watch it. Don't approach me like that.
To get out of neighborhood.
No.
Hateful message.
No. I'm gonna stand here as long as I want. You better stop stepping up to me.
We got cops everywhere.
Yeah, you better stop.
Get the hell
Yeah.
You come here for the purpose of pissing
No, let's spread the truth. You guys need to calm down. You're both out of control, actually. Calm down. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Quit walking up to me. Quit walking up to me.
You're walking around with a huge sign like a piece of crap.
Calm down. Relax.
All of that over a sign that says trans women or men. Trans women are men. That's all that the sign says. And that's a fact, though. I mean, if you are identifying as a transgender woman, that means you're actually a man. That means you're born a man with twig and berries, a whole 9 yards. You're a man. You're not a woman. You identify as a woman, but you're not actually a woman. So, yeah, shout out to him. I say hold your ground. Hold your ground there, bro. And, of course, liberals, they always want to get incensed over stuff like that. They're so peaceful, so tolerant. They're tolerant of the transgender man, woman, whatever the thing is. They're tolerant to those who they want to be tolerant to. But when it comes to actually being tolerant, meaning to those who they don't like, they disagree with, there's no more tolerance. The tolerance runs out. It runs empty. So yeah, shout out to them. I guess that's Illinois, Naperville, Illinois. What's that like? Chicago, North Chicago suburbs, nice area. Y'all let me know. All right. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, speaking about attacks, when you're out there on the street, Peter Doocy got attacked, but it wasn't from a human being. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they got drone birds or something out here. But our main man, our triple OG, Peter Doocy of Fox News, got attacked by a bird. Live on air. Let's watch, shall we?
Right. Yeah, Peter, I appreciate it.
A bird just landed on my head.
What is going on? What was that about?
I did not like that at all.
Peter, the back of your head, your hair is standing up now.
I mean, you got good hair, though.
What is going on?
That's probably so dirty.
Had to be scary.
It's probably so dirty.
Right.
Did he say dirty?
Yeah.
Scary.
I know.
Hey, President Trump, if you're watching upstairs, we got to do something about these birds.
Absolutely.
Where's the Park Service? The parks, they're always out here sweeping the street and blowing, except when the birds are landing on my head.
Oh my God.
Right. I hope it didn't have the flu.
That's right.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
Can we get the shampoo guy down here?
Right.
Oh my God.
Somebody get some 10X.
Hey, I've never seen that before in my life. A bird landing on your head. Now I've had a bird, hit me strike me with the doo-doo. I've seen that. And I didn't even realize it. I saw it one day. I had a t-shirt on and there was like some kind of stuff right here. My mom saw it. She was like, "What's that? Bird got you, didn't it?" I'm like, "A bird got me." I'm like, "Yep, sure did." Right on my shirt. I didn't even notice. But to land on my head and just be chilling, I've never seen that before in my life. So yeah, I think one of the liberals trained the bird to do that. Maybe it was a drone. Y'all know, y'all say birds ain't real, bees ain't real. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't wear a tinfoil hat. I'm just saying, maybe it was something else. Just maybe. Maybe it was something else. The shampoo guy, yeah, you gotta get that. You gotta get them nice, the locks. You gotta get that tightened up. So get the shampoo guy down there and make her happen. Make it happen. Now, speaking about politicians, with interesting takes, Fetterwoman, aka Fetterman, he said something pretty interesting right here. And when I play this, I want to hear your opinion. Is he right or wrong? Let's check it out.
Do you think that they might be engaged in insider trading at all, or is that something? Because some of your colleagues said they're interested in it.
Well, I mean, I actually was really behind that too. I don't think any of us should be owning stocks. I don't know what my colleagues' view on that is, but I don't think we did. I don't own any stocks, and I sure hope no one was selling or buying any of it over the last kinds of week or two, for sure.
Do you think?
It's crazy when a man with literal, like not even playing around, like I'm not joking when I say this, I'm not making a joke at all. He has literal brain damage from a stroke. It's crazy when that man is probably the most sensible in the entire Democratic Party. That's crazy. That's totally crazy. It's totally crazy. But hey, what do y'all think? Do you think that members of Congress should own stock? It's kind of a murky issue because if you're a lawmaker, the laws you write may impact stock prices, specific stock prices at that. If you impose in sanctions, like it could impact the stock price. So should you be able to own stock if you are in Congress? How does it really work? Or maybe you could do like a blind type of thing where you can have a stockbroker, but you can't actually input on the way the stocks are actually done. But then again, if you have a stockbroker and they mismanage it, now we got another problem. So I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that there should be stock ownership in Congress or not? Y'all let me know. Yeah, I mean, really, because if you weren't a member of Congress and you had that level of access to be able to determine a stock, that's called insider trading, because you can do things to make the stock go one way or the other directly. We don't have that kind of power. So what's the name? Martha Stewart went to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks, for insider trading. But if you're in Congress, it doesn't really count. It's not a big deal. Again, I said about Nancy Pelosi and other members of Congress, but Pelosi specifically. Now, between her and her husband, but really, probably mostly her, they're worth $230 million. 230 M's. Not 6 figures, not 7 figures, not 8 figures, but 9 figures. Yet her salary is $174,000. At best, it was $223,500 as Speaker of the House. So how do you make 174 go to 230 M's? I don't know. I think it's called insider trading, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Y'all let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Now, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, I think this is Paris. Let's go back to UK right quick. Not UK, but Europe. I think that's Paris. Are you guys fans of Paris? Are you guys fans of this particular part of France? And you know what? Paris has been like this. It's probably Paris. It could be Paris. But Paris has been like this for centuries, actually. For centuries. The romanticized view we have of Paris, I don't know where movies, I guess, that came from movies, but Paris has been the dump for a long time. That's why they fled to Versailles back in the 1600s. It was the exact same, because it's always been like this. The elites, the aristocracy, they left the general public, the crust or the bottom of society in the city to rot while they went out to the suburbs. That's kind of how it is in the U.S. to a certain extent. But then when they come back, when the city becomes attractive, they move all that out of there. But Paris has never really done that. It's just been different levels of filth in the city. So when guys like Macron and whatnot want to talk to me, I'm like, man, y'all better just don't tell me nothing. Don't tell me nothing. I'm not trying to hear it. Look at your crown jewel. Look at the center of your civilization, a dump. And it's been like that for forever. Exactly, Carrie. Yeah, you got to use perfume to cover up all that stench. You walking in the street, it's filth everywhere, all on your clothing. You got to put on that perfume to cover it up. That's why the French are so good at that. The French are so good at perfume because of how bad they stink in Paris. But if you are a French person, if you're watching from Paris, not you, but your countrymen, some of them got a little bit of a taint, a little bit of a tart smell to them. A teeny bit of a tart smell. That's where the perfume come from, right? Anyway, shout out to the French. But Paris is been like that for centuries. All right, let's keep on going here. This is going to be some of the CNN stuff with Abby Phillip.
Here's the way I think they're thinking about it. It feels like the direction they're heading in is that what Trump basically wants is for our allies to consume a lot more of our products and for China to produce a lot less of what we consume. And so I think what he's going for is a kind of soft global embargo on China. And the way that he went about doing that is he basically picked up a baseball bat and said to the entire global elites, That's a really nice stock market you've got. It would be a shame if anything happened to it. And the reason that I think that was effective is, I mean, Lutnick is saying that they could never have gotten such good deals if that pressure that you're actually describing wasn't there. But I think that was more designed for a domestic audience. And the reason that I think that is this: I've been thinking a lot about the 10 million Americans who lost their homes in the 2008 financial crisis, and how President Obama's first act in office was to give $700 billion to the banks that caused it, including $30 billion in bonuses to the crooks who organized it. And I'm thinking about how those very Americans saw a president pick Wall Street over Main Street, and what they saw this whole week was a president willing to go out there and fight for the forgotten men and women of this heartland and take on the entire international global order.
Okay. First of all, you cannot say.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Very well said. The call back to Obama was perfect. Because that time, that was a crazy time. The bank bailout, all the bailouts, all of that, it was crazy. It was totally nuts. And the whole thing with the 2008 crisis was totally avoidable. What they did with 08 was extend mortgages to those who shouldn't have had it, people that they knew couldn't afford it. And then it was like adjustable rate mortgages, all kind of extra stuff. Like, they knew that these people were not going to be able to keep their homes. And what does a bank get as a reward? They get bailed out. But it was a thing that the government put in place to kind of facilitate that to happen. The government just made a bunch of bad decisions that led up to that. It wasn't 100% the bank's fault. The government played a role as well, but yet the banks did do what they did, knowing full well what was going to happen, and they got bailed out from the taxpayer money. So they sold a bunch of junk loans at the behest of the government, and the junk loans, of course, ain't going to work out. Crisis happens, and then they get taxpayer money to bail them out. A mess, a complete mess. And then what they did with recently with some of these banks that fell, Signature Bank, SVB, they totally ignored the FDIC limit of $250,000. Your bank account will only insure you up to $250,000, $30,000. It'll only insure up to that much. If you have more than that in your bank and the bank fails, you're not going to be insured. So anything above the 250, you're going to lose. So you got to have multiple banks. SVB, one account. Like they got stuff in one account. Like payroll, they had one account for payroll with like $30 million in it. So the bank fails. Oops, we're a little bit beyond the $250,000 limit. We got $30 million in there. So what do we do now? It was a mess, man. People just do dumb things and then want us to bail them out. And then they say, oh, appeal to the experts. The experts know. The experts are the one that set the whole thing up. And then when it falls to the ground, I didn't do nothing. It wasn't me. Blame him. Kick the can down the road. Let's keep going here.
The Democrat platform's shaping up. Raise taxes, be easy on China, and don't cut government spending at all. The only thing we haven't talked about is the border. And tonight, Jahana Hayes, the congresswoman from Connecticut, is saying she regrets the vote for the Lake and Riley Act. I mean, Democrats have learned nothing from the last election, and that's where they head in the midterms right now. The Democrat
Yeah, I mean, how are you going to say you regret voting for Lake and Riley? Like, why would you even do that? I think I have that video, matter of fact, of her saying that she regrets it. Yeah, I got it right here. Why would you say you regret voting for Lake and Riley Act? I don't really understand. Let's see if she explains herself, because I'm not really understanding why you would say that. If you did it, you did it. It is what it is. Stand up what you did and don't back down from it. I know you a Democrat. I know you black, whatever. That's fine. But if you did it, stand on it.
I voted for that piece of legislation because of a very specific provision, and it was if it caused injury or death to a police officer, which was one small piece of it. There were other things about, to your point, Caitlin, someone who was was charged but hadn't been convicted. As I've thought about it over the last couple months, I probably would have voted differently. It's a vote that I regret, but coming into this Congress, I trusted that this administration, we would have if they wanted to have border security, they wanted to work with Democrats, that we could actually move forward. I'm not really sure of that, because I've seen the rhetoric that has come out and the attacks that have been targeted towards immigrants. So I am very cautious and careful when I'm negotiating my votes moving forward.
I don't get it. I mean, that was kind of like mumbo jumbo. Her name is Johanna Hayes. See if you can see that right there. Okay. Johanna Hayes. It's kind of like mumbo jumbo, really, because it's like you voted for it. You knew what the whole thing was. Lake and Raleigh, you knew what the intent and the spirit of the act is and was. It's the illegal aliens hurting American people. So what you just said didn't really speak to that. You didn't say anything that would make me think that your vote would change. It's kind of weird. So yeah, shout out to her. But nah, stand up what you said. You probably getting some kickback, of course, because you black and a Democrat, and you're in a very liberal area, so they're going to be upset with you. But nah, I said what I said. I did what I did. So what? That's how I feel. Now let's keep going here. More about China from Tiffany Cross. And we're going to get to the whole thing about her, Tiffany Cross and Scott Jennings getting into a little bit of a back and forth. But Tiffany Cross used to be on MSNBC. She had a short-lived show similar to Joy Reid and then similar to another lady. I forget her name. Melissa Harris Perry. Similar to them. It's weird. They will hire these women for like 4-year period, like a college term for 4 years. Okay. 08 to 12. You have a show, Next Girl, 12 to 16, Next Girl. That's kind of how they do it at MSNBC. Anyway, let's watch this.
Honestly, the trade is asymmetrical.
And who voted for Donald Trump?
Precisely. Trade is asymmetrical with China. We imported over 439 billion products from China. We exported over 140 billion from China. Their own foreign ministry has said, we will not flinch. We will not genuflect to a bullying government. I respectfully disagree.
You, though, Tiffany, that we rely so much on an adversary to make most of our goods?
Listen, whether it bothers me or not is irrelevant. I'm dealing with reality. It is important, but this is what it is.
Why does it have to be the reality that we are dependent on so many things to come out of our biggest adversary in the world? They are the enemy, and we should not be dependent on them.
But no, they are not our enemy. They're our biggest trading partner. And if we
they've got rare earth minerals and you don't. They're the enemy.
Right. But listen, but like it or not, sure, Michael, they are our biggest trading partner. And if we were to manufacture iPhones here, iPhones would cost $3,500. The American people are not going to tolerate that. We have one of the highest standards of working conditions here. I don't think that we can say, forget you, China. They literally.
So you're okay. Hold on, Sir Michael. So you're okay. You're okay if we continue to put our own economic and national security future in the hands of our biggest enemy, because effectively they use slave labor to build stuff, and that makes it better for us. That is terrible.
I am 100% not okay with that, but I'm dealing in the reality of what is.
Do you want to change it?
But we need to.
I absolutely want to change it. I don't know that changing it means isolating us on the global stage.
So what happens?
With these tariffs?
If I could ask, what happens if we ever have a military conflict with China, and they say, you know what, we're going to put an embargo on anything shipping to the United States. We're going to stop everything. What happens then?
Exactly, 100%. So shout out to Sir Michael Singleton. Shout out to Tiffany Cross, I believe her name is, and shout out to Scott Jennings. But check it out. It's okay to be a trade partner with China, but it can't just be they dominate everything and we get pretty much whatever we get. And it's not just the United States that is being dominated by China. It's the whole world that is being taken over. China is becoming the United States. And if we want to maintain our prominence as a country, we cannot just let them do whatever they want to do. We got to be able to fight back a little bit here and just not let them flood us with all these products. And the way that they're able to flood us with products is because they have so much money from us. They make money from buying our debt. They make money from flooding us with products. They make money off of us. The money that they use to beat us comes from us. So let's not have this disproportionate relationship. Let's not have it be so uneven and unfair and one-sided like that. Let's have a little bit of fairness come back into the game. Of course, you're not going to be able to get rid of China completely. You're still going to need China. China needs us and we need them, but it needs to be a fair and balanced relationship rather than just being one-sided in favor of China. And if it's one-sided in favor of China, that means that China could dominate the entire world like that. If they're able to dominate us, then the whole world is theirs. And I don't think you want the whole world to become a Chinese colony, basically. I don't think you want that at all. And also, can I say something else? Talking about iPhones that cost so much money. Do we need to get a brand new $1,300 iPhone every year? I mean, people get the iPhone every year. I've had my iPhone for probably about 3 to 4 years, and it works fine. I promise it does. It works just fine because it's a computer at the end of the day. Computers are not going to just break down on you immediately. If it costs $1,300 before tax for a phone, it'll last longer than a year. 3-4 years, you won't see a difference at all between that and the new phone, especially since we're getting better and better and better technology. It'll get to a certain point where you can't really get too much better. So it's not really a big deal in my humble opinion. If we're able to get a brand new phone for $1,000 every year, then why does it matter if we get that phone every 2 to 3 years? It wouldn't hurt the American people. It might hurt Apple as a company, but it wouldn't hurt us.
You cannot just go and say, I like it, it's mine now. It doesn't work that way. Well, that is what they're trying to do. And in this new world order, yeah, absolutely. When they're looking at Greenland and say, I like it, I want to take it for mine, that is a very colonized attitude.
I have never ever said we're going to go to Greenland and, quote, colonize it or steal it.
You're not a member of government, so you're irrelevant at that point. I'm talking about the president of the United States doing that.
You got fired from your job.
You can agitate.
If you want to engage in personal insults,
I don't, but you do.
What you lack in a legitimate point, you make up for in personal input.
I don't. You
personal
do.
insults. The point I am making is in this new world order, we are looking at countries, whether or not they're an adversary or ally, it is being determined on what kind of deal we can get. And we cannot govern, we cannot legislate that way. We are increasingly isolated on the world stage.
No, we're not.
So if you want to engage in personal insults,
we're not
if I were
isolated.
you, I would reserve that for your party, who is
not
increasingly isolated. This our position
outside of the United States.
You can.
So yeah, shout out to my main man, Scott Jennings, for setting the record straight. And congrats to him for getting that big contract over there on CNN. Shout out to Scott Jennings. He most certainly earned that contract. Because without Scott Jennings, man, I would have no reason to ever watch CNN. Like literally ever. And I think the host of the show, Abby Phillip, she does pretty well. Abby Phillip, she does okay. Abby Phillip does well enough for me to watch a clip where she's on it if there's no Scott Jennings, but I might not watch too much more than one clip. But if Scott's on there, hey, count me in. Let's go ahead and watch. Abby's okay, but Scott is the star. Now, we got Pete Buttigieg back. I've not seen Buttigieg in a long time. Buttigieg, where you been, bro? Hey, I've not seen Pete Buttigieg since he was on paternity leave for the babies that he purchased with his husband. I've not seen him in years. Let's see what he says right here about what's happening in today's politics.
We have reached a point now where any one piece in even a process that has thousands of steps and billions of dollars, any one piece can wreck the whole thing. This is why it's hard to get housing built. This is why it's hard to get transportation infrastructure built. And I mean, without getting into all the guts of things like the Administrative Procedures Act, right? There is
let's get into the guts, baby. Come on.
So, I mean, there is a paperwork machine, right? That again, with the best of intentions. And the basic intention is to make sure everybody can be heard. So in order to build a complicated project, you have to go through a process where everybody can weigh in. And then you got to go through all of that before you can move. There are ways to work through that, though, where people get heard and it doesn't delay everything. We did it. We started doing things like, again, I don't want to get super weedsy here, but pre-award authority, ways to...
This sounds like you're trying to cut through red tape. It is like a Doge project, basically. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe I'll hear something different, but I hear a Doge project.
If you're trying to build a high-speed rail or something, start getting things built and getting the dollars moving, even while we're working out the finer points of the contract, as long as we can agree on a certain amount of risk between, let's say, the state Department of Transportation is building something and the federal government that's providing the money, right? And there are ways to do that, agreements within agreements or other arrangements. But look, some of it is going to take some introspection in my party and in our country to come back to what are the priorities? Because it can't be, letting the perfect be the enemy of the good.
All right, that's enough of that. But yeah, that's Pete Buttigieg. He is 43 years old. Jon Stewart is 62. Yes, 62. Okay. Hanging in there. Looks to be, in pretty good shape physically. Not a big back. No spare tire or nothing like that, apparent. But yeah, shout out to Jon Stewart and Buttigieg. But it's weird when they talk about trying to reduce waste, fraud, abuse, red tape. It's fine. But when we do it, all of a sudden it's a bad thing. When we get Elon Musk, one of the most brilliant minds of this world, on it, then he's a Nazi and he's trying to bring back Nazi party in Germany and all kind of weird stuff. It's weird. It shows you just how much the media gaslights you and manipulates you and straight up lies to you right in your face every single day. Now, speaking about Doge and things of this nature, illegal immigration, Doge, common sense. So this is a throwback of Hillary Clinton. I'm not quite sure when this was first published, but let's check it out. And shout out to my left ear is going to enjoy this a whole lot. Let's watch.
Oh, I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line. So,
and you know what? Okay, now some of that was kind of like capitulating, like, yeah, you could just be here. Nah, wait in line. You can wait in line outside the club, okay? Like, what? How much? It makes no sense to say, yeah, come inside the club, hang out, but in order to get in the club, you wait in line. You wait outside the club in the line before you get in. You're not admitted into the club and then wait in a line. That's backwards. That's backwards. But yeah, speaking English, like if Hillary was to say that today, if she said you got to speak English to be here today, all types of racist and homophobic and xenophobic and transphobic. I know those phobics don't go with what she said, but they'll say that. They always say that. If I say, hey, man, you got to speak English, you're racist. Racist? I didn't know that only one race spoke English because last time I checked, I don't look like Queen Elizabeth, King Henry, Arthur, whoever, King Louis Bad, Prada. I'm not, but I speak English, right? It's so weird. So yeah, shout out to Hillary Clinton and the OG yellow, orange, get up right here. All right. Shout out to her. That's like the Kim Jong-un. It's like the precursor to her current day Kim Jong-un inspired wardrobe. She was kind of like easing into it right here. Easing into it. And as the years progressed, she became more and more like Kim Jong-un, or really Kim Il-sung, but that's a different story. And I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Now, we got a little bit more here. We have a little bit more. Oh, speaking about migrants, let's hear this. Here's something that you might not know about. You might not know about this, but let's check it out.
The Trump administration has officially cut the funding of a $769 million contract for the Acacia Center for Justice. What is that, you ask? It's a legal group that pushes for penalties against attorneys and judges who misgender illegal aliens. Think about that for one moment. Almost $750 million, the U.S. government, your taxes, have been given over to a freaking group that's going after lawyers and judges for misgendering illegals? You got to be kidding me. We're just flushing money down the toilet. No more. Trump's stopping it. Elon's stopping it, and it's a great day in America when that happens.
Right on. Shout out to my man. Yeah, misgendering illegals. Why does anybody care about that? Tell me why that matters. Who cares? Okay, Jorge Ramos, they, them, whatever, man. You're looking like an MS-13 gang member. So go over there. Go over there. I don't care what you identify as. It doesn't really matter. You're here illegally. You're already convicted felon. All right, now go over there. Go over there. ABL, you're racist. Why say Jorge Ramos? Okay, it could be Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, Wale Adabongo, whatever the name is, right? Whoever you are, wherever you come from. I'm looking at a big 6'3" scuffy beard dude, okay, looking like Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Jake the Snake, okay, Ricky Steamboat. Sir, I need you to go over there and prepare for your deportation. That's all I'm saying. There's no need to spend all this money trying to prevent misgendering of illegal aliens. Yeah, Hector and them. Xi Jinping is hilarious. Shen Yun. Shout out to Shen Yun. Have y'all seen that? What's that? The Falun Gong stuff? It seems a little bit kind of weird to me. The vibes are a little different, but I've not seen it, so I don't know too much about it. I've not done a lot of research on it, but I know that it's a Falun Gong people behind it, the Shen Yun show they have. Oh, and speaking of Shen Yun, Xi Jinping, or whatever, now, the CCP has a law that says if you are a Chinese national, you must engage in intelligence gathering and report that back to the Chinese Communist Party. I'm gonna read it right here, and you'll hear from the person talking about it, Senator Moody. All right, let's read this and then watch it. Senator Moody, the CCP has enacted a new law requiring all Chinese nationals abroad to participate in intelligence gathering. The USA should immediately stop issuing student visas to China. All right, so let's watch this and see what's really going on here.
I filed a bill yesterday to deny now student visas to Chinese students because China has just passed a law that now requires every national to gather intelligence, including Chinese students here studying, gather intelligence and report back. How do we not pass a law that prevents student visas in that respect? I mean, in the past few years, we've had an explosion of Chinese students that were caught gathering evidence or gathering information on military bases, on college campuses. How do we as lawmakers, policymakers not do that?
Now, the question would be, it's got to be Chinese nationals. It can't be Chinese Americans who were born here or who have citizenship, because that'd be something different. But I think you should monitor some of these students because they could be reporting back, although they may not necessarily be a Chinese national, but their parents could be. Like, you got to really, China is not to be played with. So you have to be very careful. If there's a law that you know about that's being used, and we've seen these spies over and over again in the military, in politics, at school. We saw it with Fang Fang, Yum Yum, okay, and Eric Swalwell. We saw it with him. We saw them steal military secrets, sell it to the Chinese. There was even somebody who stole guns and sold them to North Korea from the United States. Like, it was a whole big operation. So we got to be careful about stuff like that. And it can't be seen as racist. It can't be seen as anything other than just national security. Simple as that. Something Wong, you guys are hilarious. Shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. All right. Now, I'm going to play this last video, and don't nobody get offended. Please don't get offended. Don't get offended, but I want to hear what your opinion is. Now, we covered the story about the whole thing with the track meet or whatever. I'm not going to go back and replay any of those videos, but what I am going to do is play this from Tim Pool. Y'all know Tim Pool. He is one of the triple OGs on this YouTube space in the news arena.
For one more,
he's talking about the situation. All right, let me read this. His tweet, I'm gonna put it on the screen so you can see it. I ain't going to read what Ian Miles Chong says, but Tim Pool's tweet says, I'm confused about this story. I'm confused by this story. Are we against self-defense now? That's what his tweet says. Now let's hear what he says on the show about the whole track meet fight.
For one more, he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then a fight breaks out and or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy and, there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario separate from this one with similarities. You go to a party. Let's say you go to a party. And some guy starts saying stuff like, yo, man, get out of here. And you're like, I can do what I want. I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then the dude, you're standing there and you pull your sweater back and you've got a gun. You put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not come close. Do not take another step. Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move. So you draw your weapon and you use it. Okay, make the argument you have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument. By all means, go ahead and do so. I ain't going to do it. I don't know the circumstances. You can argue that you're in a place you're not supposed to be. You can argue it's that guy's house, and it doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into your neighbor could be like, come on over, brother. And then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are going to be like, well, you were in his house. And it's like, yeah, he invited me in. It's like, the door was open and.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back and just kind of go through these scenarios because I think my purpose here is to teach what should happen here.
You go to a party. No.
Okay, so let's talk about this for a minute. And I'm sorry for the freeze frame, Tim. I'm sorry for the freeze frame. That's probably better. There we go. So look, now, if you're gonna go to a party where you're gonna be drinking, you cannot have your gun on you. If you're gonna be drinking, you cannot have your gun because you cannot operate your gun while under the influence. You can't do that. Now, you could bring it, but I don't recommend it because you're going to get that'll be a problem. If there's legitimate self-defense, like let's say you get punched in the face and you draw your weapon and you tell the person to stop and then they continue to fight, you can use your weapon in self-defense. There will be a self-defense case there, but the gun will be a problem and you were drinking. So that'll still be a separate issue. Some people say, oh, well, you got to have equal force. I don't know where you get that from. I don't know where they do that at. If you get punched in the face in the street, you could use your gun to fight back. It's called the great equalizer. So let's say, for example, just to illustrate, you are 5'5", 150 pounds soaking wet. As a man, a guy that's 6'5", 300 pounds with no body fat on him, he's just one big muscle. Brock Lesnar, one of these guys, Hulk Hogan, the first Hogan in the 80s, he looking like that, and he punches you right in the face. Immediately, your whole left side turned down, it turns off, you get Bell's palsy, you paralyze halfway. You know, if you let this man hit you again, you might die because you're halfway dead right now. You pull your gun out and shoot him, that's self-defense all day. Even if there was not a size difference, if this man attacks you, hits you, no reason in public, you pull your gun, you could defend yourself in that moment. If you're in certain situations, you may have a problem with the gun as far as separate charge. The mall guy with the YouTuber in Virginia, he beat the murder charge because it was self-defense. However, he still had a gun charge that was separate from the self-defense charge. The popular saying, I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. What does that mean? That means I'd rather do a thing that could be somewhat unlawful to protect my life. Because I'll deal with the consequences legally, but at least I'm not dead. You see how that works? And as far as somebody inviting you into their home, they can tell you to leave their home. If you refuse to leave, they can defend themselves against you. So here's a scenario. Guy says, hey, man, come on over, watch the game, whatever. You go over there. And for any reason, he says, hey, man, you got to leave. And you don't. Now you're trespassing. Now you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. If he uses force to get you up out of there, he's right to do that. However, if he invites you over to the house and then he attacks you, you can fight back against him with lethal force. Now, if I said anything wrong, y'all let me know in the comments. And let's not even really get into the whole thing with the track. That can be an ongoing discussion. I'm talking about specific incidences where you may use or you could use lethal force to defend yourself. And this is kind of important to know because if you're going to be carrying a gun, you need to know where you can have it. You need to know when you can use it. You need to know all these things because you don't want to get caught up in a situation where you get paralyzed and don't know what to do. Oh, Nah, man, you need to be able to understand when you can use your weapon, when you can defend yourself. You got to be able to understand that because if you don't understand it, you're not going to have that knowledge when you need it. You're not going to have it. Okay. So, and people are talking about the track situation, which I said, let's not do, but that's fine. Everybody has their opinion. But what about what I mentioned? I'm going to read some of the comments here, see what you guys are saying. Don't invade someone's tent. So silly. Okay. Let me see now. And it's the same thing with Zimmerman. Zimmerman was a prime example of self-defense. And Zimmerman, I said, kind of brought it on himself because he could have just did what the police said when he was on the phone, which was not follow Trayvon. But once him and Trayvon are into a fight, now, okay, we're fighting. I have to defend myself in this fight. So I got my gun and I'm going to use it. That's why he didn't go to prison because he was able to say, I was defending myself. Was it equal force? Fists, hands, and feet on the ground versus a gun. Is it equal? It doesn't really matter. It's a matter of what do I need to do to stop this man from beating me up? What can I do to defend myself in this situation? Zimmerman, it was a gun, although Trayvon was unarmed. So you can't say it needs to be, quote unquote, equal force. Gun versus gun, knife versus knife. That's not how it works. If somebody comes up to you and just punches you right in the jaw, they cannot say, hey, we have to fight right now and we're going to fight using hands and feet. That's not how that works. You can't punch somebody in the face and then dictate how they respond to you. If you punch somebody in the face, be ready for whatever they got. That was what I was always told throughout my entire life. If you start with somebody, you put your hands on them, you punch them, be ready for whatever they got. Be ready. Here's what I would have done in a tent situation. Let me just break it down for you what I would have done in a tent situation. Okay, guys under the tent. First of all, I'm going to use a little bit of common sense. It's pouring down raining, you up under the tent. If I think I might need to say something to you, I'll just ask you politely what's going on so you know I'm not trying to approach you aggressively like I'm trying to fight. Hey, man, you good? Everything straight? What's going on? Yeah, man, it's just raining. I'm going to just stay here for a little while. All right, never mind. You good? Or if it's that serious, you got to leave right now. Hey, man, coach, I talked to the coach, said you got to leave. Or you know what? I want to say the coach got. I would get the coach and then have him handle it. Or I would say, coach said this, coach said that. I wouldn't enter aggressively or with some kind of air of superiority because what that says to people is, I got to fight. It's you and your twin brother, you big football playing linebackers. I'm a skinny kid. I probably have been jumped before. You're approaching aggressively, so instantly I'm getting spidey senses. I got to fight. I got to fight. I got to fight. So his reaction was, don't do it. That's what that was. This reaching for the weapon was, I don't want to fight you. So you got to respect that wish. You can't say, I'm going to fight you and you got to fight me this way. I don't want to fight. Here's something else. Here's what I would do. Aside from the whole tent thing, If you come up to me in the street and punch me right in the face, I don't fight. I'm not going to sit there and duke it out with you. This ain't a movie. This ain't the internet. This is real life. And I know that if I'm getting into a fight in the street, I could die. So I'm not going to fight you, but I got something else for you. And that's on God. That's on God. And I would never start a fight with nobody. I'm minding my business. I help elderly people across the street. I open the doors for old ladies, people that's disabled. Yes, sir. No, sir. Even young people, I say, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. To show immediate respect and to show love. I would never start anything with anybody. But I tell you what, if you decide to run up on me and put your hands on me, punch me in the face, hey man, don't worry about it. I don't even, I'm telling you, I'm not going to retaliate with equal force. I'm going to hit you with some real force, and it's going to be permanent. The way you can avoid that is leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. I'll give you your space. I'll be kind, courteous, nice, respectful. I'll be the best guy you ever met in your life. But if you want to act crazy, I got something for that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now, how about y'all? Here's my question to you guys in the chat. And let's leave the bias about the tent situation over there. If you are walking down the street, minding your business, just chilling, drinking your coconut water, you playing your headphones, okay, whatever. You got Beethoven, Lil Uzi Vert in your headphones, you chilling, right? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, you get hit right in your jaw and you almost fall. What do you do? What do you do? Run away? Now you on the ground, you done fell. You've not run since you've been 8 years old. Now you done fell and you about to get stomped. What do you do when you get punched right in your face for no reason in the street? What's next? What's the next step? And you're armed. You get the gun right there. Appendix carry, side carry, you got it. Do you use it or do you just say, hey, let's fight? Let's fight using hands and feet. You almost got knocked out. You almost got slept. But hey, let's use hands and feet. What do y'all do? Pull your piece? Okay. He did get hit. He did get hit. Anyway, but what do y'all do? You gonna fight? Okay. You almost got knocked out though. So one more punch, you're gonna be night. It's gonna be sleep. You're gonna be sleeping. And if you armed and you get knocked out, that gun now becomes a weapon against you potentially. He can knock you out, a quick 2-piece, extra biscuits, no drink. Bop, bop. You on the ground. Here's your gun. Boom. He shoots you and goes away. Okay. You're running. Hey man, you're going to fall right on your hind parts and it's going to get worse from there. You didn't twist your ankle. See, you have no duty to retreat in a lot of states. And no duty to retreat. You can defend yourself right there. Stand your ground. Not flee. Okay. Somebody say fight. Okay. But answer this scenario. Let's not talk about other things. Got to pull the steel. Exactly. Thank you, Antara Moody. Thank you. Okay. You leaving? He didn't already knocked you out almost. You pretty much, you trying to get it together. And he about to come right back. Hit you again. So me, quick draw McGraw. Bang. Quick draw McGraw. I don't got no time for that. Okay. So why did he have a knife? I don't know why he had a knife. Why are you asking me? Why ask me that? I don't know. You don't know either. And like I said, some say I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Maybe, just maybe, he been beat up before, jumped before. I don't know why he had that knife. Why does anybody have a knife? And what kind of knife was it? Was it like this, like a pocket knife? Because this right here, this could hurt you, but it's a pocket knife. This right here is not to be attacking anybody, but I could if I needed to. But if I see you in the street and you do something to me, you won't get this. You're going to get the other thing, This right here, just like to open up packages and stuff like that and to cut things. I collect pocket knives. I use them to open up bags. You know, I'm in the yard putting topsoil and stuff like that. I mean, that's what that's for. That's not really a weapon. That's just a tool, in my humble opinion. The weapon, you're going to get that if you put your hands on me in the streets. For real. Demonetized from the knife. Nah, this is a baby. This is a baby. You see the size of my hand. It's a baby. This ain't nothing. Pocket knife. I got like a regular K-bar. I got one of those in the sheath. I got all kind of knives. But that's just collectors, items, and tools. These are not weapons, in my humble opinion, but they can be used like that. But I don't know. I mean, if it's me, I have a knife on me because I just use it all the time for just random things. Not to hurt anybody with it, but it can be that way if I need it to be. The K-bar downstairs, I can't get that right now. A box cutter? Nah, this ain't no box cutter. A box cutter has a retractable blade. This is a pocket knife with a collapsible blade. See? That's what that is. Jesse M says, you're all for murder? It's not even about that. See, y'all get caught up in... Y'all using semantics. Some of y'all using semantics to try and illustrate, to try and highlight the point. You're being dramatic to highlight the point. You're using dramatics to make yourself be right. Just because you're dramatic does not mean you're right. It just means you're being dramatic. At the end of the day, just because somebody died, that means it's murder. You could shoot somebody and it not be murder. Cal Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 people. The third one did not die, but he did not murder anybody. Because it was self-defense. So he didn't murder anybody. Murder is an actual charge. The act of killing someone is not always murder. Does that make sense? But people use that word to be dramatic to illuminate their point. Simple. ABL, it isn't your property. Leave. Did the tent belong to the boys? Was it theirs? Did they bring it from home? Was it their family's tent? Did they pay for it? Who owned it? Not them. Okay. Am I anti-semantic? That's a good one. Am I anti-semantic? Yes, I am anti-semantic, but I'm not anti-Semitic. Shout out to the Jays. One more thing about the before I get to the calls. Shout out to the Jews. I've never had any problems with the Jews. They've always been good to me. They're always good people. But people feel like they are controlled by them because they themselves are controlled by the money that they have. If you are not controlled by outside things, then you can't be controlled by any old body. If a guy comes to you and says, hey, I have money for you, do X, Y, and Z, and you say yes, that's on you. You can't blame the Jews for that. Shout out to the Jews, really good people. Also, I can criticize governments of countries without being against the people of that country. I criticize my own government here in the USA more than anywhere else in the whole world, but I'm still Captain America all day long. So if I criticize Israel for a legitimate government reason and not because of some kind of individual religious beef, that is not anti-Semitic. That's just me criticizing the government. The same way I criticize the Chinese Communist Party, the United States government, or anywhere else in the world. It's the exact same thing. But when you get into criticizing the people, talking about they did it, it's their fault, all this, that, now I'll be doing something else. That's something different. That's like criticizing people in the United States because of their race instead of criticizing the government. That's kind of the same thing, in my humble opinion. Or a religion. Okay, I hate this group, that group, that group. I don't do that. I criticize the government, elected officials, and the media who are in control of what the government wants to tell us. Anyway, so let's keep rocking here. We're going to get to the calls in a minute. The number to call is 434-65. I'm tripping. I almost forgot. I got a new number. The number to call is 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. The number will always be in the description. It'll be right here. Perfect timing, 706-406-3287. It'll be in the ticker all the time. It'll come up whenever it wants. Okay. Let me see. Let's keep rocking here. Madden says, do I believe Carmelo Anthony is innocent and should not spend any time in jail? You're being dramatic again. You're asking me a question to the extreme. The question should be, is self-defense, not is he innocent and he didn't. You got to just kind of give me a good faith question, not one that's designed to make an extreme be the standard. Does that make any sense? All right, there's video where? If there's video of the incident, send it to my Twitter because I've not seen the video yet. Y'all let me know. All right, we have super chats on deck. Then we're going to get to the calls. Thank you to the white man who says, the white man gifted 10 ABL memberships. Shout out to the white man. Hold on. Shout out to the white man for gifting 10 ABL memberships. I appreciate you for that, boss. Thank you to No Excuse Lifestyle Rocky Cage who says, it's been a while since I super chat. It's not my fault. Blame the white man. Haha, I've been busy bag chasing every day. Now I'm doing Uber Eats, listening to the show. Salute to you, brother. Hey, man, salute to you. Keep on getting that money, boss. Keep on getting that money. Thank you to Phoenix602 says, hey, ABL. Shout out to you, Phoenix. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you to JFK Head Chunk who says, there are more dumb college grads than plumbers. There are. Thank you to Maria Favela who says, what's your opinion on Trump supporting Israel and considering attacking Iran? I don't know how he supports Israel, but as far as attacking Iran, I think that's a big mistake. Thank you to Walmart Tavius who says, I think the only way to stop corruption in D.C. is term limits and higher pay. $200,000 is low for D.C., especially for a politician needing more security. So are you going to stop corruption by giving more money? All you're going to do is attract more corrupt people. Like, that's not going to help. You would reduce the corruption in D.C. is not necessarily from the politicians. I mean, yes, they do it, but the corruption is from the permanent employees that you don't see. All these alphabet letter organizations is them. You got to attack that. That is where the problem is, the permanent government. Okay. So Damon Tarloff on the, not a super chat, just a regular chat, who says, ABL, if Carmelo was your son and you could talk to him and advise him before this happened, would you tell him to leave the tent or stay and press his luck? Well, I would tell anybody, whether it be my son or not my son, to defend themselves if they are hit first, if they are aggressed upon first. You can't just say, you can't put the responsibility of diffusing on the person who's being attacked or the person who's being confronted. That should be on the person who is doing the confrontation. So, and again, we don't know how fast the whole thing happened. It could have been a matter of seconds. It could have been 5 seconds before the whole thing happened. I would tell anybody to not put their hands on people. Don't touch people. Leave people alone. And if you do something to somebody, whatever they got for you, be ready for. So before you try to do something like that, ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth getting beat? Is it worth dying or getting beat up or getting paralyzed over a tent? See, I'm in the thought process of preventing conflict. That's what I'm on. I don't, what them twins did allegedly, I never would have done that. Because I already know that could start a fight. And I'm not trying to fight. Thank you to Ryan Henderson who says, if you come here legally, or hold on, if you come here illegally, you can leave legally. Do that. Exactly. Thank you to Ryan Henderson who says, we cannot let China dominate the United States of America, make things in America. Right on. Thank you to 757 Driver who says, Hillary reminds me of a heaping pile of tuna casserole. Thank you to Tactile Shrimp who says, nothing, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you to Tim the Beard who says, should see the video of Obama talking about doing what Trump's doing with the terrorists with China. Then he recently said he would not do that. Exactly. It's funny. They'll be out on TV saying we're going to have a closed border. We're going to deport the migrants. We're going to shrink government. We're going to do all these things. They say that on camera. They run on that. They make those promises. And then when Trump actually does it, now it's a problem. And now all of a sudden I never said that. Miss Clinton, did you say back in 2008 that you wanted to have the illegal aliens speak English? Oh, well, that was a different time. See, that's that fake politician stuff. That's that fake politician stuff that Trump doesn't do, which is another reason why we love Trump. Thank you to Ryan Henderson, who says, we even have Chinese state police in Chinatown. We got to watch out for China gathering info any way they can. Exactly. Thank you to Don Love, who says, how can kids stand their ground when it's illegal for them to even have a weapon in the first place? Kids shouldn't have weapons. They are impulsive. Well, the illegal weapon is not the same thing as standing your ground. Just because the weapon is illegal does not make it where you can't defend yourself. Like I said, in the case of Virginia with the guy who shot the YouTuber over the prank, he had two different charges, the weapon and the attempt murder or whatever it was. He beat the attempted murder or whatever that charge was, but he was convicted on the gun charge. Just because you get a gun charge and you convicted does not mean you can't defend yourself. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Thank you to Seafoam, who says, I can't do it. I'm a soft girl. Shout out to Steve Nelson, who says, ABL is why I'm here. Keep doing the best. Shout out to you, boss. I appreciate you for that. All righty, let's get to some calls. The number to call again, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. The number will always be in the box. Also in a ticker right there below. Perfect timing. Let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. All right. And let's see what we get. Where the track coaches? Good question. It's a great question. I don't know. I do not know. Let's go. 313, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. I'm getting some stuff done with the Trump administration, basically indirectly. But I wanted to ask your opinions on basically the Chinese stuff, like particularly with how they're involved in the Middle East. Do you have any opinions on Chinese influence and it's the way it operates in the Middle East?
I don't know a lot about it specifically, but I know that Chinese influence is most certainly growing, and it's big right now. I mean, Africa, they pretty much have taken that over. So, I mean, they're all over the place. They're South America, Brazil, all those countries, Latin America in general, the Caribbean, they're everywhere. So I think that it's an issue that China has so much influence.
Yeah, for sure. My from what I'm gathering, from just sort of paying attention, but it really just involves like you got to like read on this stuff, right? But I'm seeing that they're in cahoots, economically, and what they do is they get to basically abuse us by being involved economically, but also, of course, getting information, very, very important technological information by exchanging those with other countries like Israel, like Iran, Saudi Arabia, and a whole bunch of other ones. And so it's really like they're freeloaders, and not just that, but they're in support of basically the Palestinian stuff. And so that sort of ties it all into the questions that I wanted to get on about the Doug Murray conversation.
All right.
So essentially, Doug Murray, I feel like he might have botched, on a public relations standpoint, he probably botched that interview or that discussion that he had. And I think that he has very strong opinions on it, obviously. But Doug Murray essentially probably believes something similarly, that China has this way of pushing diversity. And, what we're about is we're about letting you do your thing while we invade you, essentially, right? But they do that with diversity. They basically say, you can do what you do. We happen to be very communist. You know what I mean? We don't really care about all those rights stuff that the United States and the liberals are talking about, or the West is talking about. We don't really care about all them rights and all that. But we're really here to make money and gather information and just keep expanding. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's where Doug Murray is sort of coming on the subject of Palestine, is that he's probably not even really worried about Palestine. I think he's more worried about China and Iran, to be honest with you.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because that's basically my concern. I'm not really concerned with the Palestine stuff. I mean, it is a very big issue, very emotionally triggering. But for real, I mean, they said there was some major changes going on, obviously, after the Palestinians were moved out. But China is basically the actual power center here when it comes to the so-called diversity and let's just have this suicidal empathy with every kind of victim class. You know what I mean? They're the ones that have been in the universities, abusing the banking system, abusing the economic system, and they're the ones pushing the diversity because they can get away with that. And that's how they get you in an economic relationship. Next thing you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be pushing this woke stuff. I mean, that's basically what my guess is, and that's how they take you over. But that's all I really wanted to put out there about the Doug Murray thing, because I really don't think that Doug Murray is too concerned, particularly on the Palestine stuff.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, appreciate you too. Have a good one, boss.
All right, shout out to the call. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. China's most certainly an issue. It's a big issue. And people act like they're not, but they have become like almost on par with the United States. Almost, not quite. They're getting there, and they're doing it by a lot of influence. Who am I speaking to? Hey, what's somebody on the line?
Hey, ABL. It's Jonna from DFW again.
All righty, what's happening?
I hope you can hear me okay. I'm in the car, so forgive me.
I hear you well.
I just wanted to chime in on the track incident with the boys.
Okay.
I do not believe in my heart that they're going to let him get away with self-defense. I'm not a legal major in any form or fashion, but my prayer is that maybe they would drop the charges from murder to whatever could be lesser. And my thought is about the punishment. You know, unfortunately it happened. The young man passed, but both families lose a son in the end.
Yeah.
So my prayer for these families involved, the judge or the jury, to all have compassion. Yes, it shouldn't have happened. No, there shouldn't have been a knife. No, they shouldn't have confronted the young man for being under a tent, which sounds silly, but it happened. Quick story. My husband's coworker several years ago ran a woman off the road, whatever kind of road rage, and she ended up dying from whatever happened. But his punishment is every year on her birthday, the week of her birthday, he has to turn himself in to the jail and spend that entire week behind bars. I don't know what happens if he doesn't show up that year, but to my knowledge, every year he goes and turns himself in. And I don't know how they came about it, but I hope something can come like that for this young man, not to throw his life away. It's horrible, but that was just my thought in the matter as far as punishment. I didn't know if you had any insight on any other remedies.
I mean, I don't know. I think the main thing as far as a punishment, you got to see what the trial's going to do. Like, okay, do we have evidence? Do we have video? Do we have witness statements? Like, let's get down to the trial process and see what they have as far as evidence. And then at that point, we can assess a punishment.
Yes, yeah. Well, the rumors have been spinning, definitely in DFW. But there was one rumor that the young man was suspended a few times for having a knife previously. I don't know if it's true, but in my heart, I truly believe they're not going to let him get away with self-defense, no matter the statements, the videos. It's unfortunate, but I just hope and pray that they have mercy on this young man. Being young and dumb is one thing, but I do know that one dumb decision can change your life forever.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Too.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Let's keep rocking here. Let's go 716 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh my gosh, are you for real?
Yes, I'm for real.
This is ABL. Oh my gosh. I've been listening to you for years. I'm so glad. And I just had a call in today. I'm from New York. How are you today?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Good. Oh my gosh, I'm so stoked. I just wanted to say, send help. I'm in New York, and
we need help.
Yeah, it's overrun by Democrats. You know how tough it is, but I just wanted to say, having incident, people die every day. It's very tragic.
It is. Yep. And you're right. You're right about that. People die every day.
Oh my gosh, I still can't believe I'm on live. I'm just like, I'm in awe right now. I've been listening to you for years, so thank you so much for keep doing what you do and keep up the good fight. Still have my Save Women's Sports flag flying high on my porch. We have our Trump signs up everywhere, so we're just trying to convert New York. But this is all the listeners. Shout out to 93.7 WBLK in Buffalo, New York. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting Trump. That's all I wanted to say. You have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Shout out to you guys for calling in. I really, really appreciate y'all. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. But yeah, we're going to see as far as who got suspended, who did what, who and when. We'll see all that when the time comes. 409, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, ABL? This is Colin from Texas. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain, man. Yeah, I appreciate you taking my call. I was calling today to kind of talk about the stabbing incident, and I think the focus on whether or not it was self-defense or justified, I think that's playing right into the left's hands. I don't know if you noticed this, but anytime the left wants to focus on the rule of law and the semantics of the legality of situations, it's always because they want to take your attention off a broader issue. They have no problem breaking the law or doing whatever they want whenever it benefits them politically. When they start talking about the law, you know, there's something far more nefarious going on. And I think the real question that needs to be asked is, why did Carmelo feel so entitled to be there? And why, when he felt disrespected, because he didn't feel threatened. Like, let's not get it twisted. He didn't feel threatened. He felt disrespected. Why, when he felt disrespected, did he feel the right to take that kid's life? And I think that speaks to a far bigger cultural problem that's happening.
Let's pause. Let's pause.
Yeah, for sure, man.
How do you know he felt disrespected? Like, what are you getting that from?
I'm saying because there was no force used against him.
But how do you know? How do you know he felt disrespected? Where are you getting that from?
He clearly felt disrespected. You went to where you shouldn't have been. You were told to leave.
So
and
are
your
you?
First thought is to pull out a knife and stab the dude?
Excuse me. So are you just?
No, I'm just. I'm listening.
Are you just guessing that? Yes or no?
Am I just guessing that? As opposed to what? I mean, what evidence do we have that he actually was?
I need you to answer. But look, okay, hold on. Before we go any further, I'm gonna ask certain questions. All you gotta do is answer. Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So, are you just guessing that he felt disrespected?
I am assuming, yes.
Okay, so we can make assumptions. I assume that he's just sitting there because it was raining, because they said it was raining. That's a fact. It was raining. So it's a shelter. I'm sitting there because it's raining. So do I feel entitled to sit here, or am I just trying to get out the rain right quick? I don't think it was
when you're asked to leave, why not leave?
Now, how do you know that he was asked to leave politely? Maybe the way he was asked to leave was aggressive and he feared that he might be getting into a fight. Have you ever had somebody come up to you and say something to you in an aggressive fashion that makes you feel like you might get into a fight?
Yeah, absolutely. And my first thought wasn't to stab them in the heart.
No. Let's, because you're getting too ahead of yourself now, because that happened after. That happened way after. We're talking about the initial approach. So you have in your life felt like somebody approached you and you might have to fight. You felt that before, correct? I have too.
Absolutely.
So we on the same page with that. So what makes you think that he didn't feel the same thing that you and I felt before?
Just because you feel like you're about to get in a fight.
I ain't ask you all that. I ain't ask you all that.
Well, I'm
Remember, I said. Hold on. Just let me talk though. Let me talk.
I want to have a conversation.
Look. You can't talk while I'm talking at the same time, okay? So remember, I said to you, I'm gonna ask you questions and you can just answer it. So my question to you was, you felt threatened when somebody approached you aggressively before any kind of fighting or anything. You've just felt threatened. I felt the same way. What makes you think he didn't feel the same thing that you and I have felt before?
So I'm just trying to understand
Just answer the question.
Justification.
Just answer the question.
I'm just trying to understand.
Just answer the question. Like, why? Like, okay, why are you not answering the question? I don't understand.
Okay, go ahead and re-ask the question.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more time.
Yep.
You said that you have been approached by somebody before, or maybe more than one occasion, at least one time, where you felt threatened. I have felt the same thing. What makes you think that Carmelo did not feel that you felt and the same thing that I felt in that moment?
Okay, so you're saying he felt threatened as opposed to disrespected.
Man, look, just answer the question though. Like, what's the problem? Just answer the question. You know what?
I am answering your question. You think I'm trying to dodge your question?
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
I've never gotten somebody's passenger seat of their car and threatened to stab them because they told me to get out of their car.
See, you're not answering the question. See, you're trying to just this right here is not this is not a good faith argument. You're coming here just to try to prove yourself to be correct, but you're not actually engaging in the conversation. A conversation works when I'm asking you questions and you answer them. And the same thing for you. If you're asking me a question, I'll answer the question. You're not answering the question. Can you please answer, or I can just hang up and go to the next caller?
I'm trying to answer it.
Just answer it. Just answer it.
Yes,
answer it.
I'm sure he felt threatened. Yes, you were right.
No. The question was, excuse me. The question was, what makes you think that he wasn't?
That he wasn't, that he didn't feel threatened?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair argument.
Okay, thank you. Exactly. So, you feel like things went one way. That's just your opinion based on how you feel. I think things went a different way. And my thought process backed up a little bit by some of the facts, although it's also my opinion. The facts are that it was raining at the time and it was downpour rain, and that was reported by the news and local papers and everything. So it's downpour raining. To me, what probably happened, in my opinion, was it's raining, downpour raining. I'm going to hop under the tent right quick before I get drenched. And then in the midst of me sitting up under the tent while I'm getting drenched, you got these two big twins. I'm sure they were together because if you got a twin brother or a little brother especially, you're not going to let him fight by himself. You'll be right there with him. He feels threatened. He says, hey, don't touch me. That's why he says don't touch me and reaches in the back, because he feels threatened. That's why he does that. Okay. So then they say, you know what? We're going to touch you anyway. They push him, shove him, whatever they do. And he says, okay, you failed the first warning. I'm going to warn you again. Don't touch me. And they do it again. Now they get into a fight. When the fight happens, the knife incident, the stabbing happens. I don't know if it was an immediate stabbing right away or if it was a tussle in which the knife was produced and the kid gets stabbed and dies. We're going to find all that out once we get down to the evidence and once we get to the court.
All right, ABL. I mean, I had a bigger point I wanted to make, but
make your point though. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Carmelo's in the situation he's in now is because of people who make excuses for him his whole life.
Okay, so do you know his background?
That's my opinion.
Do you know his background?
That is my opinion.
Okay.
I think the fact that the left wants to focus on the semantics of whether or not it was self-defense or not self-defense is then taken away from the fact that that young man was somewhere he shouldn't have been, and instead of just leaving, he stabbed a boy in the heart. And killed him.
Now, okay, I got one more.
I got
one last question. One last question. What makes you think that he's been given excuses his whole life? Do you know his background at all? Do you know anything about like his family situation, mom, dad? Do you know about that? Yes or no question?
But I know anytime we focus on
so you don't know so you don't know his background
when it's a white.
So you don't know his background.
I try not to.
So you don't know his background, but you're going to make an assumption in the background regardless. There's a lot of assumptions. I'm just saying. I think that it's not healthy to make all these assumptions without having any kind of information to back it up. That's just my humble opinion. Same way you have yours. So thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it. All right. Shout out to him. Shout out to my man. So people are going to be upset. I don't even care. At the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion. People can be mad at me, but I've got a lot of DMs, a lot of messages that say, thank you. I appreciate your view. Some don't like it. That's totally fine. Either way it goes, if you talk about this story, you're going to have people that don't like what you say. If I was to say that the twins were right to do what they did, or at least the one boy right to do what he did, then some are going to say, well, hey, ABL, you're a hypocrite because you said something different on these cases. I'm out. I'm going to unsubscribe. Some are going to say, well, you're defending him because he's black. You're defending him. He had a knife. He shouldn't have had a knife. He was somewhere he shouldn't have been. I'm going to unsubscribe. There's no winning, so I don't really care about winning. I'm just going to say what I got to say and speak my mind, period. If you want to unsubscribe, that's fine. I understand. I'm totally empathetic to your feelings. I get it. 914, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. My name is Michelle. I'm calling just to, and I know that this topic has been run into the ground. I am a black woman, and I disagree with you in regards to the incident that happened with the two young men. I don't understand why wherever this was, why they didn't have any type of security to just check bags and just make sure that they didn't have any type of weapons.
Well, I don't know about the security part. I don't know that. That's a good question. I guess we're going to get to that once we get. But a lot of these places, they don't really have security. Sometimes a metal detector, but a lot of times they don't. High school track meet is, that's usually not a thing that they got to worry about.
Right. But just off of just general pretense, if he was patted down and they found that knife, he probably would have gotten arrested. Am I correct?
I don't know. I don't know what the legalities are because I'm seeing certain things where they say you can have a knife if it's under a certain blade length. So I don't know what would have happened if the knife was found before he came into the actual place. That's a good question, but I don't know the answer to it.
But what, under normal pretenses, what teenage boy just leaves the house, say, okay, I'm going to carry this knife? Like, evidently, he must have anticipated something was about to, was going to jump off.
I don't know that. I mean, like, when I was a kid, Some guys had guns, and it wasn't because they're looking for trouble. It's because you're living in a dangerous area and you got to defend yourself. Having a knife really is not even really that big of a deal. A pocket knife, like a lot of kids got pocket knives. But again, we don't know what kind of knife it was, because I think some people are going to exaggerate. They're going to say what they think it was without knowing. They might say it was like a big, crazy, a machete or something like this, or it could have been a regular pocket knife. I don't really know what it was. But I don't know why he had it. Maybe self-defense. Maybe he was told to keep it because it could be kind of dangerous. And a lot of these kids, let's talk about this now, because I didn't bring it up, but let's bring it up. A lot of these school shootings have been happening a lot more than what they were when we were younger. So they're seeing them on the news and they're being spoken about all the time, talking about, okay, you got to get a clear book bag and the bulletproof backpack. So they're thinking maybe it could be dangerous in this place, although it might not be because of what they're being told by media, maybe by their parents, teachers, students, etc. I don't know what was going through his mind, but these are things that could have been happening. Are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
But ABL, I just want to just ask you this one last question before I conclude this call. If you were the parent of the twin boy of the victim, how would you feel? Would you say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't have did this," or would you tell the surviving twin, like, "Well, your brother shouldn't have done this"? I mean, how would you feel?
Well, if you're losing a child, it doesn't matter what they did, unless they were just like a complete axe murderer or something like that. You're going to be sad. I mean, when my uncle passed away when I was a little boy, he was in the streets and had been to the penitentiary a lot, but everybody was still boo-hooing. Like I'm talking about, normally when you go to a funeral, it's kind of like a family reunion. It's not really sad normally. But this time, my uncle was like, at the time, 36. He died of HIV/AIDS in 1990. I'll never forget it. I'm like 6 years old, and I could see the funeral happen behind me. I could see it happening behind me, and I can see myself outside of myself. I don't know what's going on. I got a straight face. My whole family, everybody, 100 people crying, boo-hooing. Yes, he was in the streets. Yes, he was doing things wrong, but he's still a human being. So I think that will be the first reaction, to understand that a human being's life was lost despite what he may have done that could have led up to it. That ain't the question at that moment. The question is, how are we going to get over his death? How are we going to continue to move on? How are we going to heal? Does that make sense?
Yes, I do understand what you're saying. However, he could have just fought the other young man with his hands. He didn't have to produce that weapon. You ever heard of the phrase, like the term, well, I'm a little older than you. Back in the day, we used to call it like, give me a fair one. He didn't really give him a fair one. Like, it sounds to me like he pulled that out of the bow. Like, he just pulled out that knife. Why couldn't he fight him with his hands? He couldn't fight with his hands?
Well, it's two of them.
It don't matter.
So I got to fight two people?
Fight,
now I'm getting jumped, you see?
And also, do you know how serious the heart, I mean, that's a serious area. I'm not justifying stabbing anyone, but it didn't have to go that way. He could have just fought him with his hands.
I mean, he could have fought two people with his hands or more and got jumped. I mean, but you know what? I think ultimately, to avoid the tragedy, people got to understand you can't just go around touching people. Even you think you're in the right, you think you're justified to do that, but you can't do that. I was always told to never do that because of this exact reason. And I've seen it happen before. You never know what the other person can do to you. You never know what they got. Leave people alone. Don't touch people. You feel like you got a problem with somebody, you want them to move, you got to go get a teacher, get a coach. You get involved and he want to do something to you. We could talk about how bad Carmelo was. We could talk about anything. He shouldn't have had a knife, shoulda, coulda, all these things. But at the end of the day, the young man is deceased. So let's prevent that from happening.
ABL, I think that this young man, I don't know how much time he's going to get, but I'm sure someone were to speak with him, I don't know, let's say it's 10 years later, I'm pretty sure that he probably would have thought, well, if I can go back and think in retrospect, I probably should have walked away, or I probably should have just fought him with my hands. He didn't have a weapon. I shouldn't have produced mine. And thank you, ABL. Have a good evening.
Thank you for the call. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't believe in the whole equal force thing when somebody attacks you. I don't do that. I don't know where to do that at. So if I punch you in the face, I don't want to fight. Hey, I got something right here. I don't want to fight. So you can't make me fight you. And then you can't punch me and say, oh, you got to fight me this. I don't want to fight. Leave me alone. Who am I speaking to you on line 757? Caller, can you hear me?
Yes. Mr. Logan, this is Chesapeake Bob here. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, well, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. Would you mind too terribly if I could change the subject?
Please do.
I've heard enough about the track thing. I have heard, and I don't know, and maybe you can confirm it, but I've heard that the FBI director, what's his name, Kash Patel, I heard that he is no longer the FBI director.
Yeah, now I've been seeing some things about that, but I don't know what's going on. I don't really understand what's happening. Hold on. I got a news article. This is published Wednesday, April 9th. It says Kash Patel was removed as acting ATF director. So I guess
ATF director.
Yeah, I guess he had that role in addition to being the FBI director.
So do you think, and I don't know, but are they merging the two?
I don't know. I think that he was just in that role for the time being until they find somebody to replace him so he could focus on the FBI. So maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe somebody had resigned or they got fired. So he was the acting ATF director until they could get somebody else to fill that role.
Okay, but he's still in charge of the FBI.
Yes.
Okay, because I was like, I saw a little bit of it online, and I tried to look into it a little bit, and I was like, Kash Patel, he's pretty hardcore. I like him a lot, to be honest with you. And I was like, why would they get rid of him? It didn't make any sense to me, and I didn't know if you'd heard about it or if maybe you had some insight that I didn't have.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question because I did see that. I was like, what's going on with this? And then I looked at it. I was like, oh, okay. He's still going to be there at the FBI, so we're good.
Okay. Well, sir, I honestly just got sick and tired of hearing about the track meet and wanted to change the subject. But you have a nice evening, sir. You take care.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, great call. Touch Beat Bob, shout out to you, man. That was a good save. All right, let's go to 407. You're on line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's Keith out here in Virginia. I just want to speak about the Metcalf situation, not necessarily the situation itself, but the conversation around it. Simply because I feel like, and I appreciate you like avoiding the racial aspect of it, because that's a lot of what bothers me about the whole thing. Because like even my favorite like commentators, like even the black conservative commentators, I feel like they kind of feel ashamed, and I hate that they feel that way, because I don't like that with the whole white liberal thing either, simply because they like want to distance themselves or make it seem like they're like not a part of that group, like I'm not like them type thing, and it's really a shame, and I hate to see like my favorite commentators kind of fall into that mode. So then I really want to give you flowers for like keeping the race out of it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's situations like that, even on the other side, that kind of bother me. Like one time I was at the airport, and we got to go to the special checkout line, me and my wife, because we had a baby. We got strollers, car seat, all that. So we had to go to the special checkout line. And we had a whole lot of people in line. We was like 6, and then there was only one person at the desk. And finally, this lady comes up. And then when we get up there, she's coming over us, and she's like, "Oh, look at that baby. I'm so sorry. You have to raise this precious black baby girl in the country like this." Because, this was right after the election. And she was like, "And I just want you to know that it's not half the country that's racist. A lot of people that show up to vote, it's more like a third." And then me and my wife were looking at each other like, should we tell her? So what I ended up doing, I ain't do it too bad. I just was like, "We're not racist though." And she's kind of looking at me. She's like, "No, not you. I mean the Trump supporters." And I'm like, I lower my head and I raise my eyebrows. I'm like, "Come on, put 2 and 2 together." And she was just like, oh, and go back to the desk. I'm like, "Lady, it's a line. You should have been at the desk. I don't know why you're over here pandering. You just making assumptions based on what we look like." And that's just kind of the point that I'm getting to. We got to get over this whole race thing. The best way to end racism is to just not talk about it. And at the end of the day, we're all individual people, and we all need to see everybody else as individual people. You don't have to apologize for anybody of your race or anybody else's. Let's just all be individuals and get about our life, and that's all I got to say. Have a good night, ABL.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. That was a great call. That was a fantastic call, because you know what? I get that a lot. I get that so much like what they call microaggressions. I don't call it that because I don't be offended, but people do that all the time. And it's just like, let's leave race out of it. I know it's hard to look at me and not see big, tall, black guy, but try not to just put race into everything. Just be normal, be regular. Just be a regular person. However you are normally, just be like that. You don't gotta do nothing special, nothing crazy. You don't gotta, I don't breathe different air than you. It's okay, man. It's okay. You want to go to dinner, eat some spaghetti? Okay, cool. Let's do it. Don't be so weird. So that was a good call. Shout out to him. 313, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, man, it's Tom, man. I got called to defend you, brother, because these people trying to do a litmus test on you or something.
A litmus test? Like, why you saying?
Yeah. Well, they're over here. They're I'm not going to say that they're woke. I'm not trying to offend anybody here, because I believe you're a solutions-oriented kind of guy. But I feel like they're mimicking what you see on the news, which is, do you condemn this? Do you condemn that? You know what I mean? That's basically what I'm hearing. What do you think?
I had the same thought in my mind over the whole thing, because it's like people are trying to make this be such a race thing, just the same way the media did with George Floyd. It's the same. It's like, okay, yeah, we were fighting against that because we're like, look, y'all can't be trying to tear the country up over this whole race stuff. Y'all are agitating racial tensions to try and have civil unrest. So my whole point in the whole George Floyd thing was, my whole thing during the whole George Floyd thing was to calm all that stuff down, to bring everybody back to reality. And I was attacking the mainstream media for doing that. Now that we're successfully able to identify the mainstream media as what they are, hateful, and they just want to push narratives and push lies on the American people. They are the Democrat. They're the media arm of the Democratic Party. Now we got conservatives doing the exact same thing. It's like, what are y'all doing? We fought to stop that. Now y'all want to do it on a lower level on social media. To me, it's just kind of crazy.
Look here, man. I agree with you. I'm not trying to trigger these people when I say I agree with you, right? See, this is the thing. What I think is that you're a solutions-oriented guy, again, and what you're trying to say is, on a constitutional level, on a moral level, what you do, this is how I was raised. That's all you're trying to do, right?
Yes.
Exactly. All right, I'm done with it. This is what you do when you're in a situation like this, no matter if you're surrounded by one person, 5 people, 10 people, this is what you do. That's your solution-oriented thinking.
And the color don't matter. It don't matter if they black, white, Puerto Rican, and Canyon stripe. I don't care who they are, what color they are. That's what you do regardless. I'm
trying to keep your subscribers, man, because I know that some of these people, they're mimicking, like, you know what I mean, CNN kind of talking points. You know what I mean? They just want you to say, oh, we got to pat down students now. We're going to assume that students should be at this level of debauchery. And you know what I mean? We gotta put cases around all the shampoo in the CVS, and we gotta have a metal detector when you walk in the hospital. You need a metal detector to walk into CVS. You need a big ass, bulletproof glass to walk into school. Like, those are not solutions, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Those are not solutions. You can't ban knives. That's fucking ridiculous. I mean, sorry about that. My bad. That's ridiculous. But what you don't do is put Band-Aids and then stack more Band-Aids on top of a bleeding, gushing wound. And what you don't do is what the dude did. But that's just morally, that's just like standing up. Okay, this guy is not a kid. He's not a child. He's a young man. And he's around other military-age males. Yeah, he could be intimidated. Yeah, he could be woke, whatever it is. But this is what you do in the situation no matter what. Skin color, throw that shit away. My bad, I cussed again. But you have a good night, brother.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
All right, great call. Shout out to the caller. Great call. And shout out to you guys for being here. I appreciate y'all. I know some are upset, but it's okay. I'm seeing my numbers and not really dropping. So thank y'all for being so open-minded. Thank y'all for supporting the stream. Even if you might not always agree, thank y'all for supporting. I really, really appreciate y'all. Hey, for y'all, round of applause. Because the numbers are not dropping. I've not really lost subs at all. So you guys are really, really good, and I appreciate y'all. Let's keep rocking. Let's go to, hold on. Let me make sure. 815, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Tim the Beard. I just wanted to call in about this is the last thing for the track meet from me. Just real quick. I was watching Nancy Grace, and she has like the full police report and stuff like that. So I was watching that, and she was saying that only one of the twins was involved. The other twin didn't get involved until after the stabbing took place. He said he turned around and saw his brother fall. So he went and provided aid to him. So it was just, according to Nancy Grace's show, she said that it was just between the two boys, and the witnesses never mentioned anything about a punch. It was just a push, and basically that when he said that, if you touch me, see what happens. She said, you just took yourself off of self-defense into first-degree murder because that becomes premeditated. Because that's instigation. So that's kind of all I really wanted to contribute. I know you should watch her show on it. I know I'm not a big fan of Nancy Grace, but she did have a lot of knowledge on the subject. But yeah, that's all I had for that. You have a great show. I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah.
Provocation is when you come up on me aggressively. That's the provocation. But we're going to see in court, though. We're going to see. Like, ain't no sense in really trying to litigate it. Let's go. 504, get online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Alien Spaceship.
All righty, man. What's going on?
All right, ABL. I'm doing good. I had a good day. And shout out to you in chat. And, I'm always interested in trials and stuff. So the track meet is something that I want to talk about. And I want to say that I know it's a heated situation, and in the trial chat, there's people with diverse opinions about different cases. So I am very honored and glad that you defend your stance so much, and that you make very good points about your position, even if people disagree with it or not, because it's something that you believe, and you're entitled to have your opinion.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it.
All right, and also, I want everybody that's listening is to remember that, I personally would like to wait for this trial to come about and happen, and for us to get all the facts, information, to maybe even consider a different position, possibly if there was some additional information that came out that might be different than what we thought.
Yeah, definitely. That's really important because now it's all speculation, or it's some speculation at least. Once we get more information, to do an investigation, to go to the court, then we can really get a better picture of what's happening.
Right. And also, another example about there's, that the Columbine shooting that happened. The shooting part was very bad and evil, and they were also trying to blow up the school. They're not comparing apples to oranges. Those two are very, not right in the head. Now, they did go through a lot of bullying, and the faculty did not really do anything, and it went on for a long time, and other students it happened to. And I do not know exactly what the defendant, what he went through, or how if the coaches would, do anything or not if something were to occur. I don't know, what he went through to feel he had to bring a knife. Now, usually, I know at least my school, the fight wouldn't have happened in the first place. The police would have been called, but I don't know, what the circumstances at that school was. But I do think that, usually bringing a weapon on school campus is usually, prohibited.
Yeah, of course.
And also, I think that, it would be best, if possible, to de-escalate a situation where there's no fighting back and forth. Now, I understand I've been in situations, we've all probably been in situations where you feel threatened by somebody, or somebody's going to try to square up with you, and it's a threatening thing. Now, preferably, if people knew martial arts or other ways of self-defense without being so lethal, I don't know if it was completely necessary, in my opinion, in that situation. And as I said, I'm not there. I don't know what what it was like there. Now, it's raining. I can understand somebody wants to go under a tent and get some shelter from the rain, and the person didn't necessarily have to start something with him. At the same time, him being completely deleted there, also, as Chat was saying, was not something he should have done, and he certainly probably will get time for it. I don't really know. But at the same time, starting a fight, in the first place, going back and forth, it is best for people to keep hands to themselves. Also, it's best not to delete people if possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, but the main thing is, let's not fight each other. Let's keep our hands to ourselves because, and again, the main thing that I was always taught is you can never dictate or judge what someone does. And even if there is, equal force or whatever, I've seen guys get beat to death. So it's always a risk of that. The best way to avoid that is to not be in somebody's, personal space, touching them. I never, ever, 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 ever do that. Ever. I don't care what I'm not going to do it. And if I do it, I'm ready to die. That's just what it is.
Right. Yes. And, and I don't know, as I said, when he was growing up, and I don't know what he was taught or what he thought. And you're saying they had, if people at your school, you said had pews on them. As I said, I don't know what he came up from to think that. But as I said, usually in most situations, a knife is prohibited and fights happen. And yes, I know from school, there's people that went gotten gang attacked, and not gang attacked, but people got jumped. And it's very, very bad. Bullying can be very harsh. Now, him having to be stabbed in the chest, I don't think personally it was necessary. But as I said, I want to see all the information come out. And I do believe in self-defense. It's very important. But as I said, at that situation, I don't think it was out at a game somewhere or at a bar or something like that. But as I said, I will want everybody, us all, to wait for the information to all come out. And there's also a lot of hearsay going on about what happened. There's fake accounts that are saying things. Now, there is a situation where people think that he was stealing or was there purposely to cause trouble. As I said, we have to wait for the evidence, information to come out about that.
Absolutely. That's very important. Let's go to information and then we can make judgments, assessments, or whatever. But right now, it's a lot of speculation.
Right. And also, I'm glad this chat was not like the other time. I was extremely triggered because there's people who are saying racist stuff to you. And as I said, this case, I don't think it has anything to do with race. And not everyone was doing that, but some people were making it about race. And as I said, we don't want to be like what happened with Floyd. There may be some people that are making it a race thing. And as I said, you are just viewing it as two, young people getting into a fight. You're not viewing it as a racial perspective.
Absolutely. That's my thing. I'm not even, and I have a track record to show. There's been other incidents that have happened where there's different races involved with it, but I'll just look at it for what it is. I don't put the race in it. That's not a consideration for me.
Yeah. And, people, over my stream, we were talking about it, and it went well. It was heated, but it went well. People were saying their different opinions, and I'm telling my friends from the trial chat and over YouTube that were there that basically, to not view it in a racial perspective, there's nothing to do with race, and then we could start dissecting what was going on with it. And his GoFundMe was taken down because it was against their policies. So they weren't like having a bias between the Rittenhouse or him. It was against their policies to have either of them up.
Right on.
Right. And also I want people to have unity and to disagree respectively, because everybody has their own different opinions and not think about race. And I think that it's great to have that healthy discussion, because the media likes to do race things and to cause division and, divide the country up, in my opinion.
Exactly. And that's what I always try to prevent. It doesn't matter what races are involved. When I see a psyop, when I see something kind of fishy, it's like, okay, let's not do what they want us to do, which is to engage in some kind of civil unrest based on racial discord.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your position on that. And before I go, I'll say that with the trade war with China, Trump said for a long time he wanted to, put tariffs on them, and that other, politicians were talking about it, but then like Obama, backtracked on it because he was a politician. And yeah, because it's good for us to have self-reliance and bring stuff in this country, but it doesn't mean we're not going to do trade with China and stuff. It's to bring things here and have more of a better trading landscape. And also it caused gold and silver went up. It went down, then it's like going back up. The stocks are going down, but of course the stocks eventually will bounce back, but I think that what he is doing is good with the tariffs.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm excited.
All right. Now, before I go, I want to ask, how is your weather? Is it cool or hot?
It's kind of like right in the middle. It's like 65 today, but it was pretty sunny, so it felt warmer. So it felt pretty good.
At nighttime, my area is very cool. It's kind of chilly at night. During the day, it's like kind of like same year weather. My friends over in the West Coast, it's hot over there right now. Like the eastern side is like cooler, and the western side's hotter.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Okay, ABL. Thank you for taking my call. Have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
All righty. That will be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for being here. If you like what you heard tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. If you couldn't get on tonight, I'm sorry. Don't blame me. Blame the white man, because it's not my fault. But I'll be back live again on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, this is an audio streaming podcast you're listening to. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether they be Google Play, Spotify, Apple iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. You guys get the merch, ablmerch.com. We got new merch here. It'll be rolled out in the next few days, and I got more coming. We got more shirts, hats, all of that. And also, if you guys are not following me on the Rumbles, please do so. A lot of y'all have been asking me, hey, ABL, when are you going to get on Rumble? Well, I'm on Rumble. Let me see if I could pull it up right quick. And again, thank y'all for joining. We're still at right around 1,300 subscribers. We're at 1,350. Okay, so there we go. We got everything right there. We got the Zelensky. Yeah, shout out to Monique Price for the Zelensky edit. I might have more of those too, where I talk about certain things in the video or a live stream, whatever it is, and we bring it to the edits with these videos. So got the Zelensky one. We got other ones that are doing pretty well. You guys follow me on the Rumbles. Follow me on the Facebooks. Follow me everywhere. All my links, everything will be on the website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Thank you for being so open-minded and being gracious and being respectful. Okay, some are going to be heated. Some are going to have some racial stuff, but I appreciate the majority, overwhelming majority, 99.99% of y'all who are not on that extra stuff. Thank y'all for being y'all. I couldn't ask for a better community. Now, do I have super chats? I'm going to read these and wrap it on up and put the bow on top if I have some. I think I got everybody. Hold on. Let me see if I can reload this. I got a few more. Yeah, I got a few more. And before I read super chats, thank you to all you guys for watching, retweeting, super chat. And I could not do this show without you. Thank you to Mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. We got super chats on deck. I'll read these right quick, and then I wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Thank you to Steve Nelson, who says, ABL is why I'm here. Keep being the best. Thank you to Zedder's Kingsword, who says, everybody needs to chill. And Everybody was written like that, ERR. So shout out to you for writing in my dialect. Thank you to G Nails, who says, this is my favorite part of the show because we get to see if Ivan got deported yet. Laughing emoji, salute ABL. Shout out to you. Thank you to Tony Styles, who says, saw you walking around that mansion on After Dark last night. You should visit that panel more often. A mansion? I don't have no mansion. I have a regular, sir, I have a modest home. I'm not on mansion status yet, but I'm flattered. You think I got a nice house? I appreciate it, man. Yeah. But shout out to you, boss. Tony Styles says, saw you walking around the mansion on After Dark last night. You should visit the panel more often. Yeah, I will do that panel more often. I don't want to be intrusive and just be on there all the time, but I'll be on there more often. So shout out to my main man, Anton Daniels. If you guys don't know, I was on his panel last night. It was pretty fun. Good talk, good people, good community over there as well. Shout out Anton. I love what Anton's doing. He's like a battery. He'll never run out. Shout out to Anton Daniels. Thank you to Zach Doubt, who says, ABL, I enjoyed your interview with Anton Daniels after hours. Carrie was a bit hard of hearing last night. It was good discord all around. Yeah, shout out to Carrie. I think, because I reviewed it after, I think maybe I was not explaining myself very well. I kind of led with an analogy, and that might have been a little bit too much because you got to understand. You have to understand the basis of that first. I can't lead with that. I got to speak more directly. So shout out to her. Good people. Thank you to Hammerhead716, who said, thank you for your perspective. Thank you for your very kind words. I appreciate you. Thank you to Red Cup Talks with Mika. Shout out to you, Mika. I see you. Mika says, salute ABL. Salute with the heart emoji. Shout out to you. Yeah, Mika was there last night. Shout out to you. Thank you to Kai's Parsonus, who says, just got here. LOL, I'll watch the replay. Good show. Shout out to you, boss. And thank you to Zedach's Kingsword for gifting 10 more ABL memberships. I appreciate you, boss. All right, that's pretty much a wrap for me. I'll be back again on next week with the live show, but I'm here all the time putting out pre-recorded videos. Until then, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.